Welcome back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler here with Johnny. Johnny, what's going on?
Oh, Tyler, just chilling out after our Vegas trip. Been relaxing at home.
That was last episode, so...
Oh, I know, but I still haven't really gone back to work yet.
You've been out of work this whole time?
Essentially, I worked 2 days, Tyler, and then I gave my son my sickness, so then he had to stay home, and then someone needs to watch him, and that became me. So, yeah, just like 3 weeks with like 2 days of work. It's been awesome.
All right. Well, I'm sorry about that. Feel better, Johnny.
No, I feel fine. And my son was also fine. He just was not allowed to be around other kids. But it gave me some time I did some comfort stuff, like you get sick, you watch like favorite movies and stuff. So I've never really watched the Clone Wars. And then like I watched a couple of the first season and like the movie that came out. And I thought those were generally pretty terrible. And people are like, no, I'll give the later stuff a chance. I was like, all right, well, I got some time now, I guess. So I'll like just throw it on in the background because I was also sorting Legos. I don't know if you know what that's like, but it's a super fun process. And I don't mean just
So hold on, when you're sorting Legos, do you mean that you're sorting like a set or you're sorting bulk Legos into the place it needs to be?
I was about to clarify. So I'm actually going through minifigures, right? So what happens is when I complete a set, I take the minifigures, I write their minifigure number on them. Not on the figure, but on a little piece of paper. And then the set it comes from, and I put them in a little bag and I seal the bag. And then I put that set, all the figures from one set into another bag. And then that all goes into a box, right? I keep the figures separate from the Legos themselves because if it rattles around, those sets have sharp edges. So I keep the figures aside. Anyways, I'd bought in some lots like, I don't know, a year or two ago, and none of the figures were sorted out. So I went through the process of getting all the figures out, figuring out what sets there are, what sets are from, what figure it is exactly, because a lot of figures repeat, or they have small variations, so you need to know exactly which one you have. So I was going through this process, and while doing so, I had the Clone Wars on. I'm like, oh, I'm already looking at Star Wars Lego stuff. Might as well put some Star Wars on. So that's what I've been up to. I've made it into the midway through the second season now of the Clone Wars. It's okay.
It's okay. I heard it was the best thing ever. It's like one of these shows you just gotta watch. It's not for kids. It's like they understand it's for the fans.
I mean, I think after, like, especially after Attack of the Clones, the movie, and you get into like Revenge of the Sith, the idea that this is out for kids is out the window. And the Clone Wars is still, you can see they're like touching the kid audience, but it definitely is growing up a little bit. And also they say after the first season, it gets much better. And it's been fine. Like I haven't hated it. The first couple episodes in the movie, I really did not enjoy. This has been progressively better. So anyways, that's what I've been up to. There's a lot of that. And then like playing hide and go seek and stuff, entertaining my son. He's like been stuck at home for like the last 3 weeks, unable to see people. So he's 5. This has been like torture to him. So, but we're finally in the clear now. He's going to get to go back to gymnastics, burn off some energy, see some kids. It's going to be great.
He needs to know that just sitting home and being able to play video games is the best it's going to get. This is it. This is the golden age, man. You're forming everything you're going to love and obsess over for the rest of your life.
Everything that you're going to spend all of your money on, all of your time wasting cataloging, it's right now. It's happening right now. He doesn't even know. This whole episode we're going to do is based off this idea right here.
Johnny, I watched, probably when I was like 6 years old, I watched Power Rangers the movie at my rich friend's house, and I still remember the jokes we made while watching that movie when I was like 6 years old, because I was just way into Power Rangers, and we were like, because I think it starts out in a parking garage, and we joked, man, this movie's like Power Rangers in a garage, am I right? And I remember that joke like 25 years later, more than 25 years later. You're making memories, kids. Stay home, watch some Price is Right, and then when you grow up, you're going to be like, man, remember staying home and watching Price is Right? Because we all do it.
Yeah, it's great. It's the best. But he doesn't know yet. I mean, he's only 5, so he's not quite there. But anyways, we're building some memories. We watch some Star Wars together. We're hanging out. He just, he's social. He's He's not an introvert. So he wants to see people. He wrote letters to his friends that he missed that I have to go drop off. Yeah. I mean, he also talked to him on the phone. Like, we called them and stuff, but he's like, I miss them. Can we write them some letters? I was like, sure. All right, let's write some letters. What a very sweet impulse. Let's do it.
Johnny, while we're talking about kids doing stuff on the phone, my friend has a kid, and I don't know how old she is, 4 or something like that. Maybe 3. She knows how to use a phone. She knows the controls on a phone, but she doesn't understand like how to be polite and carry conversation. So she'll get on the phone with you, and then once she's bored, she'll just hang up without saying goodbye. And I love it.
Yep. Done with this call. Click.
Yeah. Anything else interesting going on?
Yeah. It's an impulse that she will carry with her for the rest of her life and then not be able to get that satisfying click.
You know what? The cool people do it in the movies. They just hang up the phones. We're getting real off topic here with stuff, but man, I loved watching movies as a kid. I'm like, I just want to pick up the phone and be like, Richard here. So now I'm an adult and I could do that. So I pick up the phone and I just say my name. Or just like talk
Richard
to me.
Here.
Talk to me.
You've never answered the phone with a talk to me?
Not in earnest. I'm sure I've done it as like facetiously.
You just got to be like, Ayuchi, talk to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I usually answer the phone with yo. Just how I start my text messages too. You've gotten many a yo from me.
Once I discovered, probably in high school when I discovered like really cheap Chinese tech websites where you could order stuff for like $4 shipped. I got a Bluetooth earpiece, and I spent like 3 days of my life walking around with a Bluetooth earpiece like a really important business person. That was cool. Yeah.
Did you tap your ear and you're like, Tyler here, talk to me?
Almost positive I never got a call.
Too bad.
I was so cool in high school, if you can imagine.
I can imagine. I can. I bet you were so cool that you did things like collect Pokemon.
Yeah, Johnny, I got Pokemon cards banned from my elementary school, actually, because my Machamp got stolen, and I had to stand up at recess and tell everyone it got stolen, and whoever could stole it, if they could just bring it back to me. And I know it was Jared. I saw he had my top loader. My top loader had like a green sticker on it, and I was going through, he was like looking at his cards. I'm like, hey, that's my Machamp. What the fuck, Jared? And the teachers wouldn't listen to me. They weren't going to make him give me my card back, so...
Jared never ponied up, huh?
Jared almost definitely has like committed a murder by this point. He's like one of those, he was like one of the bad kids. Like you could tell by like 4th grade, like this kid's not going anywhere. So, You know what? I ended up better, and that Machamp is worth like $15. So
he's probably rich.
Who's winning now?
And he's probably rich now. Because I think those worse impulses are the people who succeed. Yes. You just don't give a shit about people. You will go further in life.
Yeah, Johnny, I think we should, we got to state where we are in life. So 4th grade, that's when Pokemon Red and Blue came out and was the biggest thing on planet Earth. You would have been a little bit older. I'm pretty sure that like probably the peak, like I think the peak hit me just right. I think being 4th grade when those games came out and that card game came out is like peak mania at the beginning.
Yeah, I remember people going crazy for Pokemon, and my younger sister was into Pokemon, and I was like, what's Pokemon?
I could see high school kids being shitty and like, yeah, Pokemon's for kids. So
yeah. Also, they're like, oh yeah, it's a game. Like, oh okay, and then it's like, oh, it's a card game. Oh, is it like Magic the Gathering? Oh, kinda. Oh, that's for kids.
Magic the Gathering is not for kids. You don't understand. It's really
no. Pokemon was for kids. Magic was for the cool people. Magic isn't for kids. Everyone's like, it's a kid's card game. I'm like, no. Under what delusion is this for small? Like when you say kids, you're talking about like people under 13, and you definitely don't mean that. Give me a fucking break.
Kids can't even read all the cards on modern cards anymore.
How could they afford the game? Jesus Christ. Give me a break. That's why everyone's so mad and everyone's proxying everything. Give me a break. Come on. Fucking for
So
kids.
Johnny, you don't care about Pokemon. What's up with that? You've never played a Pokemon game, I think?
I have done so much Pokemon collecting in my day, but I've never played a Pokemon. I've just never never done it. It was just before me.
It's it's been happening every year since 1998. It's just
And
always happening.
In 1998, I was in the military.
Yeah, what were you doing in 1999? What were you doing in 2004? What were you doing in
the military.
2011? There's always been a Pokemon happening.
A job, adult.
Oh my God, you didn't play Pokemon Go?
I have played for my wife, and I'm bad at it.
Oh my God. All right. Well, at least you have technically played a Pokemon game. You played Pokemon Go. Because, like,
Yeah,
Pokemon's a phenomenon, and then, like, Pokemon Go was its own separate phenomenon. It was, like, a 3-month phenomenon for most of us, but,
my wife is still going hard. Still playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, mine
is. As you know, she's still friends with Ada.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a couple people in the Discord who are still playing Pokemon Go, too.
Yep. Just not, I'm bad at it. I still don't know Pokemons. I just heard some like insane shit about ghost type Pokemon. I was like, what is happening? What's going on with ghost type Pokemon? Why do they all have these crazy tragic backstories? There's some ghost Pokemon that used to be a human and remembers its human life, but now is a ghost Pokemon. What the hell kind of madness is that?
Oh yeah, every generation or every game they change the flavor text on Pokemon, and I think some of them are like messed up in the beginning. But
dude,
I don't remember any good ones.
The ghost ones are crazy. It was just like, what? Why are they all so damaged? Like one of them carries around its face or something. We're just like, what do you mean you carry around your face?
I mean, Cubone is a little like
I know his mother
Pokemon.
It wears his mom's skull.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, this is some of the Pokemon lore I know. I'm like, what do you mean he wears his mom's skull? That's insane. What? Yeah.
Johnny, we're going to be talking about every Pokemon game. Asterisk, until we get tired, because I don't know how long we can go. So maybe just the mainline series Pokemon games.
Okay.
I wanted to do an episode. I didn't even want to go super deep into variants, but we're us, so we ended up putting all that information in our spreadsheet here, or our doc here. I just wanted to go through every Pokemon game and just give us a rating of if you should collect it or not. Because I think so many Pokemon games are just boring and overpriced and not worth it compared to buying almost anything else. Pokemon Black 2 is $160. I literally don't care how quote unquote uncommon it is. What the fuck are we doing here?
Oh, so Tyler, we got some good ones in here. So yeah, we can do this. I mean, and if we're talking about the ones you just collect, once you get outside the main line, like, is the answer like pretty much a blanket no? Like, come on.
I don't know. I mean, we're not going to talk about everything. I think Hey You Pikachu's all right. I mean, how many games are like Hey You Pikachu? There's Seaman and like Pokemon Channel, maybe.
Oh, okay. So Pokemon Tarazi and Pokemon Rumble and all that, these are games we should be buying?
No, that's stupid.
Okay. And just for all the people who are out there screaming, it's Yamask is the one that was said to have been a human and carries the face it carries around was its human face.
Cool.
Anyways.
What? So, how did it become a Pokemon then?
Because
aren't Pokemon like made of electricity?
I don't know. I don't know how it. I don't know its history. I just know this like one thing because I was like, why is this so messed up? What do you mean it carries around its face? Like, what do you mean it used to be human? Like, so it was a human and then got made into a Pokemon? That sounds horrible.
Like, was it made or did it just happen naturally? And why don't we see them all over the place? Why don't we see every human who's ever died who's turned into them? Is it like a rare event?
I don't know, man.
You know what? I bet nothing explains this, and it was just some random flavor text that a guy made up in 2 seconds, and he's like, we gotta move on to the next one.
Yeah, it's a Pokemon. It's a shadow-like Pokemon holding a golden mask that has a face from its time as a human.
Johnny, let me give you a secret about Game Freak. And I don't know about the people who translate the American ones, because I know the Americans have to come up with like their own little funny names and puns and flavor text and all that. But Game Freak is like the laziest, most out-of-date, low-effort developer of all time for a developer selling like 20 million copies of every game they ever made. It's nuts how like outdated the Pokemon Switch games are compared to modern technology. I don't know if it's because like, have they just like kept the same developers from 20 years ago at the same company and they all just like haven't upped their skills with the modern skill set? Because I know every other AAA game, they finish a game and they just fucking lay everyone off and they're like, all right, let's do that again with some new people. Gotta get a new team together.
That sounds
Love
awful.
me some video game layoffs. What a stable industry it is.
Yeah, that sounds just 100% awful. Don't work in video games, kids.
Yeah, but I mean, also, Game Freak, you need to lay everyone off and start over, because what are we doing with these? Look at these graphics. We like PlayStation 3 at best.
Was it Arceus that like completely didn't work when it came out?
I don't remember, but I've seen Ada play a lot of that game, and that game looks like fucking trash. Just like glitchy white lines on the edges of things, just like no view distance popping. Oh my God, 20 frames a second, just... It's a flagship game, and that's like one of the cooler Pokemon games that's come out recently too. That game looks like all right, kind of cool. It's not like a super traditional Pokemon game.
Yeah, I don't know, Tyler. I don't know about it. I don't know about the Pokemons. I'm going to surprise you with how much I know about buying Pokemon games, but as far as about Pokemon itself, very little.
Johnny, let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
1998 is 2 years after the beginning, which was 1996.
Ah.
Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green, or Pocket Monsters Red and Pocket Monsters Green in Japan, the first Pokemon games, and these are not the same game as Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. This is sort of an Animal Crossing situation, where the first games came out in Japan, and then there was an updated release, and America got the updated release. I know one of the differences I could think of off the top of my head, when you go into your Pokemon menu and you see all the Pokemon, you see actual icons of all the Pokemon. But when you did that in the original games, I think they were all like that generic Pokemon. Like it was like a Rhydon looking thing. So these are like shittier versions than the ones you played. And they're the true originals. Johnny, I'm going to say it. Probably everyone listening to this podcast should own a copy of Pokemon Red and Green. It is just way too important of a game for $50, give or take, probably even less than that. Just get both. Whatever, for like $75, you could have both of like clearly one of the most important games of all time. And if it was the same as the American one, if it was like an exact port, I would say like, fine, just own the American ones. But because these are unique games, more or less kind of, just go and get these.
Oh man, it's yeah, especially when you consider what you're going to pay for Red and Blue in America. This
I like get those too, whatever.
Yeah,
I think those are also super important.
Yeah, no, we're going to talk about those. Man, I wanted to talk about before the show, maybe we'll do bonus content for it. But I really wanted to talk about Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door and the nonsense that's happening there. Anyways, Tyler, $75, you think this is a good deal? Very collectible. We should all buy this? That's what you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. Done.
Okay.
What are some of the, what do I need to know about them though?
All right, let me make it harder for you. So,
okay.
The earliest prints of Red and Green have, I've only talked about this with a couple people. I'm going to call it the big UPC. So you look at the back of the box, it's got a UPC on it. And the big UPC takes up almost all of the white space in the box. Almost every copy of Pokemon Red and Green you'll see has like a lot of padding around the UPC. So that wouldn't be the big UPC. So if you want a first print, or an early print at least, you got to get that big UPC. And they are uncommon. And I don't know if it's just because they're uncommon in general, or just because you will literally search through like 300 copies of these games before you find them, just because there's so many freaking copies of Pokemon. So big UPC, hard to find. Probably you're not going to pay any premium for it, and I think you should get it because it's very important. and they're very cheap. It's just like these Japanese games like Pokemon, Mario, Zelda, Metroid, they cost nothing. Just get them, man.
Okay.
Also,
I'm making notes. Before we go further, though, I do want to just tell everyone. I said we're talking about Pokemon games. We are sticking to the games. So all the people who are out there, oh, good, maybe you're going to talk about all the console, especially the handheld variants. We're not doing that. That's not part of this. It could literally be its own episode. There's so many variants and weird collectibles and a whole portion of people that just...
merchandised thing on planet Earth.
Yeah, like this could be chunked up into several episodes by itself, but we're not going into the consoles and the handheld, so don't look for that. So we're not talking about those as collectible items in this episode. All right. Sorry, go on.
Johnny, if you're a weird collector guy, there is a very rare late print of Pokemon. I don't know when this came out. It must have been like the 2000s. But the manual of the Japanese Game Boy releases has a -1 variant, and I don't know what the difference is, but I have gone through every copy of Pokemon Red and Green on Yahoo Japan multiple times, and I have failed to find a single one. I've only ever seen a picture of the Pokemon Red one. I imagine it has to exist for Pokemon Green as well. But it's a -1 manual, and no one will care that you have it, but man, it's rare, and I want to mention it.
Okay.
Also, weird. I'll just say, be careful. They released 3DS download codes that come in the same packaging as the Game Boy games. Especially if you're looking for a new copy of these, which you're not going to find for cheap. But if you see it for like $100, you're actually buying the 3DS download code. So don't do that.
Yeah, and there's also, if you're looking at a Pokemon Green and you're like, oh, this is a US release. There's not a US release, but there are people who have translated it and packaged it as a US release. But
what about the historic unofficial VGDB variant?
Yeah,
the WATA graded.
It did make a WATA grade. That was pretty hilarious. But
patron of the show, VGDB.
Yep. So
shout out to Nick.
Look, it's a nice release if you want one. But I'm just letting people know that these things exist out there, unofficial copies. Enjoy it if you like, or don't. I've even seen a green version on the N64, so cool, knock yourself out.
So, Johnny, new copies of Pokemon Red and Green, middle print, not early print copies, just sold on Heritage Auctions. This was like some featured signature auction thing, making it a great time to make this show. Not really, I just wanted to do this show. But the Pokemon Red sold for $45,000. I think these were 90 pluses. And the Pokemon Green sold for $16,000. That is a crazy difference considering they're basically the same game and one has a cartoon dinosaur on it and the other one doesn't.
One has Bulbasaur, right? That's that one?
One has Venusaur, yeah. And one has
Venusaur.
Charizard. That's a crazy difference. I think Pokemon Green's like the more interesting one because it didn't come out in America, but just, I know, everything Charizard is just like, Charizard. I like
Charizard! Yeah. Okay.
How do you feel about those numbers, Johnny?
I feel like that's insane and you should not spend that much money on that. But whatever. I mean, who am I to tell you what to spend your money on? But,
So so Game Boy games in Japan were never sealed. So a new copy means someone looked at the hinge and determined it has never been opened. So it's a real theoretical new type thing. And to pay a $45,000 premium over the $50 that game would otherwise cost is a lot. But I understand once it's in the graded case, it's a whole new object. Doesn't matter that it's just a hinge that hasn't been cracked. It's the thing.
It's now the thing forever and ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking for one of these for a while. You know, I probably would have paid like $200 if I saw one on Yahoo and I thought it was real. Probably wouldn't pay, $45,000 for it though.
Oh, I mean, what's a little money between friends?
But so the thing is, forget the fact that all it is an uncracked hinge and like it's a ridiculous object. I think like there is a future, I think, where Pokemon cards sell for literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, where that was a great investment.
True.
Who knows? Because looking at video game prices, what was I looking at? I was looking at a Star Wars auction, and there was a Princess Leia sticker, a PSA 10, the first Princess Leia sticker that was ever made, that sold for $27,000. So just like video games are trash compared to trading cards and comics. I don't know why, but trading cards and comics are way better than video games.
True.
All right, I got nothing else to say about Pokemon Red or Green. Really, go out and just buy one right now.
Okay.
They're so important. It'll always be the first. Everyone's favorite the best Pokemon game to own will either be your nostalgic one. So, if you're a millennial and you like the GBA games, or if you're Gen Z and you like the DS or 3DS games, whatever you played as a kid, you're always going to think that's the best. If Pokemon Black was your first game, oh, what a surprise. You think Pokemon Black is one of the best Pokemon games ever made. But the other one you'll be interested in should be, I think, the first, which would either be Red and Green or Red and Blue in America. So just go get it. Go get it. It'll always be important. Johnny,
okay. Pokemon Blue. You want to tell us about Pokemon Blue? It's your favorite one to talk about.
Is it? No, so Pokemon Blue in Japan. This is the game, I think, that made the updates to Pokemon Red and Blue in America, that all those minor updates we got. So this was 1996. There was an issue of Korokoro magazine where you could mail order Pokemon Blue in celebration of Pokemon selling 1 million copies. So this was mail order only to begin with. And it was so popular that in the middle of 1997, in celebration of selling 4 million copies, they re-released the mail order again. And then in 1999, Pokemon Blue in Japan had a full retail release. So the mail order copies don't have a UPC, and the retail copies do have a UPC. And this has got to be one of the only cases where the mail order copies are probably more common than the retail copies. Or at least there isn't a big difference. Because you would think oh my God, mail order Pokemon. I got to own one of those. Well, yeah, just go get one. You can go get one of those. They are super common. Again, $50, probably less. There's another one that just sold recently on Heritage Auctions. A new one for $8,500.
It's a lot of money.
That's, yeah, compared to some other Pokemon, I wouldn't get Blue, because Blue was it's the kind of second thing that came out. This is pretty cool. It's mail order. Why not? I think it would be cool to have this next to the issue of Korokoro magazine where you could have ordered it from. I have never actually looked for that, but speaking of it now, Johnny, I want to get that.
That does sound cool. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Nice little piece together.
All right.
I could see it.
This is not a 10 out of 10 like Pokemon Red and Green, but still pretty good. 7 out of 10. Yeah. 8 out of 10. Because if you get Red and Green, you're going to want the blue to go with it. You're going to want the yellow to go with it. Just get all of them. What are we doing? It's Pokemon. You literally got to catch them all is the thing. Come on. But not all of them, just like the Gen 1 stuff.
Just most of them.
Johnny, all right, Pokemon Red and Blue. The US releases, not the same as the Japanese one. All right, we've talked about it a lot. The Pokemon Blue misprint, it's the GOAT. I love this. On the back of the first print of Pokemon Blue only, there is text that says Pokemon Red, where it should say Pokemon Blue. And it is pretty rare. I think I saw a percentage somewhere where someone looked it up. I think it's 5 to 10% they saw misprint copies. Johnny, go get that one. A sealed one just sold for $14,000, 9.0 A+. That is way down from the last sale, but it's also a lower grade. Pokemon Red and Blue, they're $300.
Okay.
Which is way cheaper than a lot of the other Pokemon games we're going to talk about. And I don't care how much more common they are. It's Pokemon Red and Blue.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that it's more common. More demand.
So you got the blue, which has the misprint, which it's the earliest identifiable US print. And then you got red, which has the cartoon dinosaur on it. You can't lose. 10 out of 10. You should own Pokemon Red and Blue. They're Game Boy games, top 3 Nintendo console to collect.
But you do have some other notes here about what's on the back of the box and how to tell some versions. So tell me about that.
All right, so if you don't get the cool version of blue, the earlier versions of red and blue have Sandshrew and Meowth in the screenshot on the back of it. And then the later prints, for whatever reason, they changed it to Rattata, which is in both games. I think Sandshrew and Meowth are both exclusive to their games. Did some kid look at the back of a blue box and they're like, oh, I can't get that Pokemon, but I can get a Rattata. I wish this screenshot showed a Rattata. So you want to avoid the Rattata screenshots. And then the really late prints, the ESRB logo turns from a white E to a solid black E, which is how you know you just got straight trash, because those are the latest prints.
Are you sure? Maybe those are the rarest versions.
Sure.
The fewest prints.
They could be the rarest version, the rarest straight trash. Yeah. There's nothing I like less than like a late print like that. Like, all right, obviously player's choice is like kind of the worst thing you can have, but man, when there's like a super easy to see thing that's like, oh, you got the bad version. Oh, it just bothers me every time I look at the box.
Yeah, I don't know which version I have, and I don't want to look because I don't want to think about it.
If you have the solid black ESRB, you shouldn't worry too much. It's okay, but also just sell it and get the white ESRB because it'll literally be the same price.
Okay.
Also, I wanted to point this out. So the sealed copy in 9.0 A+, that misprint blue sold for $14,000, which, you know, it's rare. I think it's one of the best Pokemon things you could possibly own. The 9.0 A+ early version of Pokemon Red sold for $7,500, half the price. So Pokemon Red sold for 3 times the price of the Japanese Pokemon Green just because it had Charizard. But when it comes to the US releases, the misprint blue sold for twice of what the Charizard one sold for. The high-end video game market is insane.
Well, you know, all you got to do is give them a reason to spend money, right? Like, this one's better because
Charizard, apparently, but...
Yeah, but you know what's cooler than a Charizard? A misprint.
The last time, I think in 2021, was the last time like these were selling for like $100,000, and I remember the Charizard sold for like $30,000 more than the misprint blue. So it's literally flip-flopped since like 3 years ago.
Yeah, with knowledge comes change.
Johnny, Pokemon Yellow.
The best one because it's got Pikachu on it.
Some people who are wrong would say that. Pikachu also follows you around in the game in this.
I choose you, Pikachu.
So Pokemon Yellow is weird because of the release order. So there's a version with a white ESRB logo, no ESRB logo, and a black ESRB logo. And that's the release order based on the date codes of the components inside.
What?
So you would think that no ESRB came first, but it was white, none, and then black.
How is the no ESRB in the middle of this?
I don't know, but everyone who's ever looked at this has looked at it and been like, that makes no sense. And then when you look closer, you're like, oh, okay, I guess. All right. So, I mean, a lot of people have looked at this.
I just, like, I'm sure a lot of smart, good collectors have looked at this, but that I just feels like something that is not correct.
Yeah. Sure. Pokemon Yellow also interesting because it's not clear whether it's in the Game Boy or Game Boy Color set. It says Game Boy on the box, but it is like a very unique cartridge that I believe has Game Boy Color enhancements for Super Game Boy, but I don't remember the exact technical reasons. There's like a technical thing that only Game Boy Color cartridges technically do, but it's the only Game Boy game that does that. And nerds will argue over it. I just say it's Game Boy because it says Game Boy on the box.
Says Game Boy on the box. It's a Game Boy game.
Johnny, this game is also like $300. I guess you can get it too. I mean, if you're going to get the US red and blue, the yellow, having the yellow makes it look really nice, all as a set. And this game is kind of common sealed.
It's got Pikachu on it.
So it sells for like $3,000 or $4,000 sealed in America.
I'm surprised Pikachu doesn't make more money.
He's like a rat. He's not a cartoon dinosaur.
People love Pikachu.
So, Johnny, here we go. Pre-order bonuses. Kind of a crazy thing with Pokemon games. We're starting now in Japan. If you pre-ordered from Lawson Convenience Store in Japan, Pokemon Yellow, You got a sealed pack of postcards. Whoa!
Ooh.
Postcards. And you got to pick
say?
up the game 24 hours before the official release.
Oh.
I have no idea how rare these postcards are. I don't look for Pokemon pre-order bonuses. But again, in this big Pokemon auction, someone who I have to be sure doesn't care about this and has never heard of it until they saw it in front of their eyeballs. A new copy of Pokemon Yellow sold for $8,000. The Japanese copy. Well, that's like twice the American price. That's crazy. A new copy with the pre-order postcards sold for $13,000. That's a $5,000 premium for a package of pre-order postcards. Is that like nice a world record?
ROI for just a
nuts.
pre-order?
The guy, it's not even, you don't even know if he pieced together the postcards with that copy of the game. He could have just went on Yahoo and he's like, oh, hey, check it out. It's the Pokemon Yellow pre-order postcards. Oh, $35? Yeah, let me get those.
Could have, or maybe it's a known quantity amongst Japanese Pokemon collectors.
I mean, it could be $5,000 for pre-order postcards. That's insane. It's like, all right, if it was Pokemon Red and Green, I'd be like, okay, I mean, that's like the thing. But like Pokemon Yellow, the fourth game, really?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, just a quick note to our listeners. Much like Nintendo, we are going to be largely ignoring Europe and not talking about PAL releases. So, sorry guys. It'll mostly just be US and Japanese stuff here because that's what we're more familiar with. There's going to be a lot of specific PAL variations, but we just weren't equipped to get you the knowledge on those.
Johnny, I care about like the first 10 Pokemon games, so I'm going to talk about the Japanese stuff, but the Japanese stuff's going to drop off too.
Yeah.
If you want to know why, look up a list of, like, pick a modern, say like 2013 and beyond Pokemon game, and look up a list of every pre-order bonus for it. In Japan alone, they will have pre-orders for every single store. I'm talking like 25 different pre-order bonuses, and some of those will be like one for one game, one for the other game. So more than 25 pre-order bonuses. And it'll all be like this stupid stuff: sticker sheets, screen cleaners, postcards, little nano blocks building sets. Just like every possible merchandisable thing will be a pre-order bonus, and every single little convenience store and gas station will have its own one. It's bananas over there.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then when you start to go into other regions, it just becomes even more. So,
and there's a lot in America, and they're not documented. So Bulbapedia has a list of pre-order bonuses, and like right away, it's not complete. There's a ton of them, and then you were looking up like Pokemon Legends Arceus, whatever it is, and it had a pre-order plush, and it wasn't on the wiki. Like the actual Pokemon wiki, the place that this stuff should be documented, doesn't have it. Which, if that doesn't have it, I have to assume it's just not documented anywhere in 100% complete form.
Yeah.
So you know what? If you're one of these people who needs a job, you want to just look through like press releases and Google for a bunch of shit, go make 100% complete Pokemon pre-order bonus spreadsheet and send it out to all of us.
Yeah, it's a lot. And this is... for some background information, I found this plush. I'm like, what about this plush? Tyler's like, what do you mean this plush? It wasn't on the site. And you're like, okay, this is where we are in the world. And then as I looked through just Google Pokemon and pre-order, and you're just like, okay, never mind. This is such a big rabbit hole. Good luck out there to all you Pokemon collectors. This could be the only thing you collect, and you would have a large collection of video games and video game related ephemera.
And, you know, just because we're talking about this pre-order stuff, a lot of the more recent pre-orders have been like super lame, like posters. And when they're available, they're like $8. And if they're not available, when the fuck are you going to find a Pokemon pre-order poster? So that could be like a cool set to go for, because I bet some of that stuff is hard to find, but also basically worthless.
True. All right.
That's Pokemon Gen 1, Johnny. Buy all those games. Pokemon Yellow, I'll give it an 8 out of 10, because you got to get one with your red and blue.
An 8? Wow, that's harsh. Feels
an
like
8? That's harsh? I was thinking about going 7, but I mean...
Oh, it's got Pikachu on it.
It's got Pikachu on it.
When I was buying Pokemon games, and I did not know that Red and Blue were the first ones, right? And I was like, oh, I should buy a Pokemon game. My wife's like, oh, I love Pokemon. I was like, okay, so I'm going to start buying some stuff. And ever since like the PSA grading and Charizard became the thing, it used to just be Pikachu was the thing. So that was like the one you bought. I think Charizard took over later in the game, but it was like, I mean, it used to just all be about Pikachu, right?
All right. As someone who was there in 4th grade, witnessing the Charizard craze, as far as my recollection and understanding goes, the popularity of Charizard was mostly due to the trading card, because the trading card can do 100 damage, which was more than any card in the game. But that's not really how trading card games work. Like, you can't just pick the magic creature that has the highest power and say it's the best card in the game. Because that's not how, like, card advantage and tempo and all that kind of stuff works. But kids are stupid, and no one actually played the game, so people just assumed that Charizard was the best Pokemon because it had the biggest number on it. And this drives me crazy, because the best Pokemon were like Electabuzz and Hitmonchan, which did like 40 damage, not 100 damage. But guess what? You could actually play them, because you didn't have to upgrade your Charmander to a Charmeleon to a Charizard. Charizard was a good card, but not a top 5 card, Johnny.
Charizard's popularity driven by the card game, and Pikachu's popularity driven by marketing.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And the TV show.
Yeah.
There's I forget what the exact text of the card is. There's a card in Gen 1 Pokemon, Professor Oak, discard your hand and draw 7 cards. I don't care what card game you're playing. If you print a card, this is uncommon, by the way.
Just Wheel of Fortune now?
You print a card that says discard your hand and draw 7 cards? Yeah, that's the best card in the fucking game, okay?
Yeah. Just discard this. Just take... I could have 2 cards left and then suddenly go back up to 7? Okay.
You could have 1 card left. It's crazy.
Yeah,
you could draw another Professor Oak.
Yeah, please.
All right, I got one more thing to say about Pokemon Yellow.
Okay.
Many, if not most sources, will label this Pokemon Yellow version Special Pikachu Edition. If you look at Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, it will say Pokemon at the top, followed by Special Pikachu Edition, and then at the bottom it will say Yellow version. Interesting, because version and edition are almost the same thing. I don't think you're allowed to use them both in the same context like that.
No.
But on Pokemon Red and Blue, where it says Special Pikachu Edition, it says gotta catch 'em all. So if you think it's Pokemon Yellow Edition, it's Pokemon Yellow version, Special Pikachu Edition, then you think it's Pokemon Red version, gotta catch 'em all. So update your list. It's one or the other. They're the same font in the same place. You cannot tell me that Pokemon Yellow is the Special Pikachu Edition if you're not going to say Pokemon Red and Blue are gotta catch 'em all. That drives me nuts.
I'm going to go with Special Pikachu Edition.
No, stop it. Stop calling it the Special Pikachu Edition. It's just not part of the title. Okay. It's Pokemon Yellow version. It's a stupid
Pokemon
tagline.
Special Pikachu Edition. I'm going to drop Yellow version. It's just the Pokemon Special Pikachu Edition.
Cut it out.
Why? Let's talk about the most important thing on there, and it's Pikachu. What do I need to just shout out colors to you primary babies? Oh, red, yellow, green, blue. Cool.
I like going to title screens and manuals to break ties like this, and I haven't done this for Pokemon Yellow yet. I would be almost positive it doesn't say Special Pikachu Edition in the manual.
Well,
if it does,
manuals aren't good for a tiebreaker because manuals can be written and printed by somebody who doesn't do the front box art and who also doesn't do the splash screen.
Well, you gotta pick it somehow. Separate things. And it's gonna be the manual and the title screen are the 2 best places to get your thing besides the front of the box. Sometimes back of the box says something, but often the back of the box will be abbreviated.
I'm going to tell you that the front of the box is the best place to know the real title of the game. Why? Because it's the last thing done. So after all was said and done and all the dust has settled, they're like, okay, we need to make the box art. This is the last thing we're doing. We're finalizing the text on the game. We've already got all the art assets. The text is going on. What do we call this thing? So that is going to be their final decision, is the front of the box.
All right.
How about that?
And we know from the front of the box on red, blue, and yellow that Gotta Catch 'Em All is just a tagline, just like Special Pikachu Edition.
Special Pikachu is an addition.
Oh
it's
my,
a special
but it's already
edition.
a version. How could it be an edition if it's already
It's an edition? It's an edition of the yellow version.
But it's not. They're all that edition.
No, this one's just the Special Pikachu edition of the yellow version. It's much like the Superman collector's edition for N64.
Okay, yes. Every Superman
It just didn't sell enough. Pokemon notoriously not successful.
The DC Comics Superman version collector's edition.
Yeah.
All right. Johnny, Pokemon, that's Pokemon Gen 1. Pokemon are divided into generations, and I probably can only by heart. I only know up to Gen 3, so I'm going to stop dividing them by generations. I don't even know what the generations mean anymore, but basically the generations, you could trade between them usually, but then you could also trade in between generations sometimes, like trade Pokemon over a link cable I'm talking about. Yeah, trading, big part of Pokemon, turns out. Oh yeah, we didn't even touch on the fact that the entirety of Pokemon is a scam, where they split one game into two games, then artificially limit how many Pokemon you can get in each game, but otherwise they are the exact same game with very minor differences. Huge scam. It is unbelievable in an era of like pre-order bonuses and live services and just like the most anti-consumer stuff. People are still putting up with split Pokemon games. It's nuts.
But yeah, I love this. Man, just activate your FOMO.
They incentivize you with pre-orders to buy both games.
Yeah,
games you won't play. You'll never play both Pokemon games. What are you talking about? You're going to just pick one and play it.
Yeah, there are specific pre-order editions. It's like, if you pre-order both, here's an extra thing. Gotta love that.
It's because they know so many people will. I do. Well, I only recently stopped buying Pokemon games because I'm like, this is crazy. I've had enough.
By the time they get to the Switch or the 3DS, they're just like, screw it, where everything's a double pack. We'll just let's make it easy on these people. Here's a double pack.
Yeah, here's a game that we put a third as much effort into as a standard AAA release, and we're going to charge twice as much for it.
Yep, enjoy.
Johnny, Pokemon Gold and Silver. The most important thing to know about these is that they came in shiny gold and silver boxes. Whoa.
Ooh, sexy. Yeah, love it.
I don't think there are major box variants for this one. There's just like date codes and like, man, we're talking about Pokemon, like so many of these were printed. Like, good luck finding a first print with the date codes. You got a lot of research to do there. But you know what? Maybe just don't care. Interesting thing with Pokemon Gold and Silver, there's a pre-order preview CD in the US. So if you pre-order this, it came with a PC CD, and I don't remember what's on it. I'm sure it gave you like some clips and like a Pokedex and all that kind of junk. Shrink wrapped to a postcard. And you could just go get these on eBay for $20, and kind of one of the less-ish common early pre-order bonuses. Not uncommon because it's Pokemon. But, you know, a lot of them are in like generic jewel cases and stuff. So you want to find one that's still shrink wrapped to that postcard, I think. I literally bought one the second I learned it existed.
And how is it?
Oh, I don't know. Like that was 2 hours ago, Johnny.
Oh, you just did this.
Oh, I didn't even buy it. I put a bid on it. So you know what? Maybe if you're feeling charitable and this auction comes out, this episode comes out, maybe don't bid on one of these for like a day because my auction might still be running.
Yeah. Okay.
In Japan, going back to the Lawson convenience store, Pokemon Gold and Silver, these came. There's a pre-order version that you picked up. This was probably the same thing as Pokemon Yellow, but it came with another, like a little baggie with postcards in it, and the whole thing came wrapped in a bag. And I only know this because this was very recently on Yahoo Japan. I think there's, I think I've seen a couple of these on Yahoo Japan, actually, which means that it's probably not like this super rare Pokemon Yellow type deal. But in addition, so it came with the new inbox game and the cards wrapped in a bag, and it came with a little apology card. And it was like a little index apology card, and it basically said, like, sorry, pre-orders for this game were so messed up because demand was so high. Because, you know, this is the first real sequel to Pokemon. Can you imagine the actual demand for this game?
I'm sure it was insane.
Yeah. So that's another really cool pre-order thing you can get. You know, these days, now after this auction that just happened on Heritage, you know, you're probably going to pay $5,000 plus for that. It's a totally normal price to pay. But for just the American version, still plus or minus $300. That's kind of the floor price of a boxed Pokemon game.
That's, man, Pokemon games are so expensive. There's so many of them. They made so many of these games.
Yes, look at any console, and if the top game isn't Mario Kart, it's probably Pokemon. I think on GBA, the top games are like it's like 5 Pokemon games in a row. It's crazy.
I mean...
And they're the most expensive games on the system, because rarity doesn't matter. It's only popularity. Who the hell played Astro Boy Omega Factor? I don't know.
I know what they did play, though, and it was Pokemon.
You played Pokemon.
Let's get that money.
All right. So, Pokemon Yellow sold, like, I guess, absolute gangbusters, because it's the same price as Red and Blue. But then we get to Pokemon Crystal, and we start seeing the Pokemon fatigue set in for the first time. So, for the first games in a generation, they'll release the 2 games side by side, and then later on, they'll release a third game, which is, it's got like some bonus content and like a combination of the Pokemon from the 2 games. I was never into the third games that much, so I don't know a lot about the third games in terms of what's super different, but it's mostly the same as those games with extra and slightly changed content. And because of that, these tend to sell a little bit lower. So we're talking, instead of being the number 1 and number 2 selling game on the console, it's probably the number 3 selling game on the console, which could literally be a drop off of like 50%. But yes, because of that, Pokemon Crystal is like $500 or $600.
That's a lot.
Should you pay that for a Game Boy Color game, Johnny? Is that a good deal?
No, that's a terrible deal.
It's Pokemon. It's still, you know what? Pokemon on Game Boy Color. I'm not going to complain about buying any of these games. You know, maybe I'm down to like 7 out of 10s on the Game Boy Color games. Maybe 8s if I'm being charitable. I still think these are great.
Okay.
They're pretty early. I think anything Pokemon in a cardboard box, I think just buy it. Whatever. $500 Pokemon Crystal, whatever, just buy it. I don't own it, but you should. Why not?
All these Pokemon games come in a cardboard box.
I mean, all of them up to a point when you get to DS, and then it's like...
double packs, all in cardboard boxes.
No, forget all that stuff. Just the early stuff in the cardboard box is cool.
Okay.
So Pokemon Crystal, there's a very well-known misprint. I don't think, like, the Pokemon Blue misprint is known, but definitely not as well-known as the Crystal misprint, because when you go on eBay, you will see so many listings that mention this misprint. The last bullet point on the back of the box says Gold and Silver, and it should say series, but there's a curly bracket in the middle of the word. Very funny misprint. There's a lot of Pokemon misprints, it turns out. It's like 50-50 on whether there's a misprint or not. There's no value difference, and I don't think it's even clear whether the misprint is the first print or not based on the box type. Maybe you could tell me, Johnny. I think the misprint is on a box that has, like, it opens on either end, and then the not misprint is on a Y-fold box.
I don't know, honestly.
Okay, because I think those double... or no, I think it's the other way around, but I think the double-ended boxes like that are earlier. They stopped doing those later in the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, they went to the Y-fold later.
See, this is like just a thing that I've never cared about. I know some of the handheld guys are just like super into like box construction, and I like variants. I just couldn't give less of a shit about whether my box opens on one end or both ends, or which way the flaps go.
It tells you a lot about the game. Like, you just start to learn, like, oh, why is there a variant? Why did thing change? Oh, because they were changing box types, so might
Yeah.
as well.
I mean, I'll look at an ESRB logo and I'll be like, oh, they got the TM after the ESRB. That's a later ESRB logo.
Who cares? But a box, they changed the whole box. Who gives a shit?
Exactly. The other thing about Pokemon Crystal, there's a bunch of new copies of the Japanese version. I don't know why. I've seen VGA like 90 graded copies for sale in Japan. I don't know what's going on, but you know, this is like a more expensive American game. Maybe don't pay $10,000 for a new Japanese copy. And again, all these games are still unsealed in Japan, so they're like psychologically sealed.
You should definitely pay $10,000 for this.
Johnny, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
Okay, here's where I jump in, and I know some things because this is like one of the first things I had to buy. I not had to buy. I was like dating my would-be wife, and yeah, like she would become my wife, not would be as in some sort of pretender. Yeah. So like I bought her a GBA for her birthday, and then it was all Pokemon all the time after that.
Yeah, this is where I stopped. So if you guys want the timeline, as someone who was like deep into it in 4th grade, yeah, by the time Ruby and Sapphire, man, there were too many Pokemon games. Like I'd played them, and this just looked like more. So I'm out. Tell me about Ruby and Sapphire.
Well, it's all typical Pokemon stuff. Early copies had the e-reader card and e-reader ads. You know, everyone loves an e-reader, right? You guys remember e-readers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing e-reader stuff and not Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
Well, and Pokemon does have some e-reader stuff. Specifically, there was, do you know the Eon ticket? Do you know what this is?
It's an e-reader card.
Yes, it is. And you could get it at a couple of different places, like E3. There's a special version that was given out at E3. There's one specific to Toys R Us. There was one via Nintendo Power issue 173. And it does some stuff. What is that stupid Eon ticket?
It unlocks something in the game.
It does a couple of things.
Does it get you a Celebi?
What does it do? So I like the E3 edition best, but you say you like the Nintendo Power. That's the one.
I think that's the one that everyone has. Like when you go on eBay and look for it, like all of those were pulled out of Nintendo Power. And this is like an expensive insert, right? Is this like over $100 for an Eon ticket?
Yes. So if you get the Eon ticket, if you get the special E3 edition, it says that, and you have to open it up to get the ticket out of it. But I forget exactly what it unlocks, but it does some stuff. Anyways, yeah, sorry, don't have all that information. But yeah, you can get these Eon tickets. And it advertises Sapphire and Ruby on it. So this is all part of that. Later copies of the game had the e-reader insert swapped for posters and then ads. So if you like that, that's cool. And these also have pre-order bonuses. This got one of my favorite pre-order bonuses, though, Tyler. And I know you've seen these, but each one, and you only get one coin, but I just said it, but they come with a coin that's specific to the game. So if you had to do it individually, so you could get both coins, but they're pretty cool. They're on eBay. They go from like $30 to $80 new. And they come on a little blister pack, which is awesome. So yeah, you can go get yourself, if you want to like spruce up the Pokemon collection, be like, oh look, I've got Ruby and Sapphire, and here's these 2 awesome pre-order bonuses that went with it. And these games, Tyler, I know you're not going to guess what it goes for. Do you want to take a guess?
I would have guessed more. But yeah, $300, which is like floor price for Pokemon. Yeah. And yeah, you can get like some cheaper ones of these $300 ones. You can get like the $220 one, but it's not going to be nice enough. You're just going to spend the $300.
So here's the big problem when we're going to talk about prices on everything. We're going to say $300 a lot, or plus minus a lot, because Pokemon, because it's so collector driven and people are grading this stuff and they're super into this. Yes, all games are condition sensitive to a point now, but Pokemon games, this is triple true, quadruply true. I can't emphasize enough that how much condition variance, like pristine copies of a game that is otherwise selling for $300 will suddenly be $1,000. It just happens. So if you look at Pokemon auctions and buy it nows, like if you look at the ones that are in the nice condition, the price range varies all over the place. Like the spread is high. So take all the prices with a grain of salt. Know if you are a mint collector that if it's Pokemon you're into, you are paying up for these.
Yeah, when we say $300, that means like $225 to $900 for like the 90 percentile there. Which is like, when you think about it, that's what collectibles should be. There shouldn't be a price for a collectible. Like, having a super huge spread like that is normal for coins and stamps and cards and comics. You would never say, oh yeah, Action Comics 1, yeah, that costs like $150,000. Like, no, there's like millions of dollars of variance in that one comic. And Pokemon is kind of one of the only things in the market that really follows conditional rarity. And you could say the same thing about like, Super Mario Brothers or something, but there's so much fewer copies of really, really nice Super Mario Brothers when like there's just a deluge. There's so many copies of every Pokemon game. And so we're able to see like all these crazy prices like constantly, just like hundreds of dollars swinging all the time because there's so many copies available in so many different conditions. Is probably literally the best example of conditional rarity in video games.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, if you want to see what conditional rarity in collectibles looks like and what it will probably start to look like more and more in the future, Pokemon is a really good thing to look at. Also, we can't talk about Ruby and Sapphire without we'll talk about it more later, but just acknowledging that Pokemon Box exists and it's directly tied to this. So we'll get to it when we talk more about GameCube stuff, but know that Pokemon Box specifically states it's for Ruby and Sapphire.
No, Johnny, it's in the title of the game. It's Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire.
No. That is just the tagline.
Stop it.
It's just the tagline. That's just the addition, Tyler. You're like, come on. Like, if you're going to include that in the title, then you got to do the rest of it too. So it has to be Pokemon Box, Pokeball Ruby and Sapphire Pokeball, Attention, and then the rest of it.
Well, what about Pokemon Organizer? There's also a little thing on the box.
Yes.
I like the fact, I bet that thing isn't on the Japanese version. I bet they released this box art and then someone was like, we got to put something on the box that just like makes it clear it's not a game. Like, just for like legal reasons.
I wonder if that's true. The Japanese version is very similar looking. It's got a lot of text on it. No.
All right.
Anyways. So there's our talk about Ruby and Sapphire. And yes, there was a whole wave, started out on the Game Boy Color dips, but there's like this renaissance when it hits GBA too. Like, people are, the passion for Pokemon is going very strong. It like is completely reignited on the GBA.
Johnny.
Yep.
2004.
Good year.
Have Pokemon Fire Red and Pokemon Leaf Green. These are not remakes of the original Japanese Red and Green. These are remakes of Pokemon Red and Blue that came out 6 years after those games came out in America. You know what? Maybe they're remakes of the original if you really think about it. All right, 8 years. We'll give it 8 years. 8 years? This is the 2000s. We were not in like the crazy remake times that we're in now where everything is just remade. Like, it's been 4 years. Let's remake The Last of Us again.
It's fan.
8 years? We need literally every Pokemon game is the same. Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Gold and Silver, like they're basically all the same. I mean, all right, Gold and Silver, they got a bigger world. Okay, great. And we're already remaking them. That is how starved we are for content. And these games sold 12 million copies.
So many copies. So much.
Right after Ruby and Sapphire came out the year before.
Yep.
Which sold 31 million?
So many copies of these games exist.
I'm sorry, 16 million.
Hey, Tyler, I don't know if you know this, but Pokemon games aren't rare.
It's out of control. Okay. Johnny, the big thing with these is they come with a wireless adapter. I'm guessing you don't know what it does off the top of your head. What does that wireless adapter do?
So you can trade Pokemon with your friend who has GBA.
Johnny, that's what the link cable does. Why do we need a wireless adapter? The Game Boy Color had wireless. It was IR. You had to like point it at each other, but it had it. All right, I guess this is so.
I don't. Is that what it does? That's my guess. That's what.
Yeah, no.
always
So
what I
you could
thought.
trade and battle wirelessly next to each other, but like, just use a cable. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm complaining. I guess this is better technology. I don't see it as necessary. And like the Game Boy Color, it had the IR built in. You didn't even need a cable to trade. I remember trading with my friends just without a cable.
Yeah. Maybe it's just a better. Maybe it was like upgraded Wi-Fi.
Do you know what it is, Johnny? It's a cool add-on that doubles the price of this game.
It sure does, and it gives you a special cutout in your box, like in the inner cardboard. Super hard to find. Nice. Got to get that cutout.
So only the early copies of this game come with that wireless adapter bundled in. It's got its own little special spot in the box, just like the expansion pack or Rumble Pack and N64. And we're talking $400 to $600 for these stupid remake Pokemon games with the wireless adapter included.
I have the bad versions too.
And on top of that, there's an earlier version with a misprint on the back.
Of course there is. Misprints in Pokemon. They go hand in hand.
This is both in Fire Red and Leaf Green. The fourth bullet point on the back of the box says, all new wireless adapter. They misspelled adapter.
Love it.
Go get them. Like, I could just say, like, yeah, dude, Pokemon Misprint Blue, like, you just go get that. The big UPC Pokemon Green, like the early copies of that, just go get that. We're talking $600 already for just a copy of Fire Red? No, don't get the misprint. What are you doing? Get anything else with your money. What are we doing at this point? But it is Pokemon and in a cardboard box. So, like, minimum 7 out of 10.
Okay. And there are just a warning there. So after the wireless adapter, they stop including it in the early prints. And then you get the next major revision of it, which is the player's choice. So be careful of that. Is there a player's choice where the box is foil and not foil? Am I misremembering that?
It might be that the early copies were foil and the player's choice aren't. Yeah, I think you're right, but I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but there's some variants to look out for there. Don't get the player's choice versions. Don't succumb to it.
Is this the only player's choice Pokemon game? Is that interesting? Because the thing is, it's crazy that they decided to player's choice this, considering Pokemon will just sell forever. People are out there still buying Pokemon Sword and Shield, and those games suck.
No, doesn't Coliseum have a player's choice? Yeah.
Okay.
Leaf Green has a player's choice. Coliseum has a player's choice. These are probably the first player's choice for Pokemon.
Yeah, but the mainline games don't really get player's choice releases because they know they'll just sell forever now.
Yeah, they just like, we're never taking this out of rotation. Why would we?
And like, why would we cut $10 off the price? Because back in the GB and GBA days, these were like $30 games. So they were cutting them down to 20 when they're like, why would you need to do that for a freaking Pokemon game? Now we could sell a handheld game for 60.
Yeah.
Sorry, 120 because they're going to buy both.
Yes.
They probably thought they were pulling one over on us. They're like, oh, we're going to get them to spend $60 on a Pokemon game, an absolute formative moment of their childhood. Little did they know, we would have been spending 4 times as much.
Also, everyone was going to go out and buy the guide because there was guides for all these, and the guides had like stickers and stuff in them specific to it. Man, you were doing it all. You were definitely getting all the things. You were spending so much money on Pokemon.
I mean, I had the books. I had a Pokemon Pikachu. My friend had the electronic Pokedex. I thought it was super cool. I also had I had a handheld like personal information manager, like an electronic organizer type thing. It was tough in the 90s before we had phones, kids. But man, it's probably the same thing for Pokemon, but I still thought it was probably the coolest thing ever. Probably wasn't.
No. Oh, hey, guess what? You want to know my favorite part about some of these guides of this era is there starts to be store exclusives for them. So like Target and Toys R Us start to get store exclusives of the guides, and they put like big splashes on it, like Target exclusive. So you can look for those too. So if you really want to expand your Pokemon collecting, you can go get some Pokédexes, you can get guides with variants. Enjoy. Enjoy. The world is your oyster.
What information could Target possibly have that Walmart doesn't have?
No, it's all the same information, but this one comes with a poster.
Oh my goodness. Like, in all these guides, so all the Pokemon merch, at least in the era that I was actually buying this stuff, it was all, I could tell as a kid, as like an 8-year-old, I could tell it's just the cheapest, most regurgitated garbage. Like, they had an intern write up all this junk for these books, and you just saw the same clip art over and over and over. There was no new art, no new effort put into anything. Those Pokemon print shop games that I just bought, whatever they're called, the art studios, I guarantee it's just the same clip art over and over and over. It's crazy how much is regurgitated for all the merch. And now, obviously now it's different. Now you get like the exclusive Pokemon cards with the cool art by so-and-so artist. But man, it sucked back in the 2000s, early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah, they're real bad. They're real bad and real low effort. And I don't think it ever got fixed. I don't know. Like, they later on in the guides' lifespans, you start to get like hardcover guides. There's like 10 different companies making them, specific Pokédexes for each game. It's madness. Pokemon is madness. How does anyone collect this?
Johnny, 2005? 2005, another year later, third year in a row, we're ending with the big one. And I don't know why it's the big one, but it's the big one. Pokemon Emerald.
We've done it.
6.32 million copies sold the first year that it existed. Pokemon Emerald. Johnny, I'm just going to start out. This game is like $800 for a nice complete in box.
Nice.
What are you talking about?
Is it made of real emeralds?
It's a rare Pokemon game. By rare,
no, it is
only
not.
Millions, Johnny. Only
no,
millions.
I'm not here.
Go on eBay, search for it. It's there. $800.
Is there something special about this I need to know?
I have never understood it. And I understand, well, I mean, the original sold 30 million and this one only sold 8 million, or I don't have the numbers in front of me.
It was just what people were waiting for. There was the sweet, we had the little interlude there, with fire, but now we're getting back to the gems. And here's Emerald, the one we've been waiting for, Tyler.
The real gem.
Yeah, it's a real gem.
Like, man, like some like mediocre copies are in the $500 range, like some okay copies in the $500 range. I can't believe how much this game costs. And maybe there's a nostalgia thing. Maybe there's something about it that I don't know, like from the gameplay wise, but I doubt it. I guarantee it's in 100% due to its availability compared to the other Pokemon games, which is still very available, but not quite as available as Pokemon Red.
Yeah. There's still so many copies on eBay that you could go get right now.
So early copies don't say plays on DS in the top left, and later copies do say plays on DS. Imagine that.
And a lot of these games on sealed copies got stickers put up in that corner that says plays on DS.
Ooh. Don't
because
get
these games
those.
are in print forever.
Those are junk.
Yeah. I mean, that's just you're only going to find those one like on Ruby, right? You can find that up in the corner on later prints. So sealed. Exciting, right?
If you pre-ordered this, Johnny, you got like a whole tin that had like a guide and a VIP card that gave you access to a special website. It's almost like a steelbook, but a little bit bigger.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of a comparison here. Not quite as big as like the Fallout 3 lunchbox.
No.
Yeah, it's like a little tin.
Comes
with some junk in it. It's like $60. They're buy it now for $150 on eBay. Don't pay that. I don't think that's that bad considering how apparently collectible this game is.
No, it's a nice little add-on. It's not that. If you're spending $800 on this, then what's $60 more to have this cool little tin to go with it? I will say this. Pokemon loves its tins. Their cards come in tins. They do tins for a lot of different things. So
I think tins are really the sweet spot between something that is incredibly cheap to produce yet still feels a little bit substantial.
Yep. I think that might be accurate, Tyler.
So, Johnny, this also, besides being the apparent best Pokemon game, has the apparent best Pokemon variant, which is the big box.
Ooh, we love a big box. Is this the first Pokemon big box game? No, I mean, I guess you would have to count Stadium as the first like big box game.
Okay, yeah, all right, we're gonna go there.
Yeah. But first mainline big box.
So we went on eBay. The last big box sold for like $900. So this is a big box. It's around a retail copy of the game. It's just a bigger box that has the same art as the retail copy of the game, which is so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
And it came packed with a carrying case. Like, whatever. Who cares?
Yes.
You're here for the box. You're not here for the carrying case.
Yeah. And like Tyler said, there is just a regular copy in it. So it's not like a big box where the cartridge is just in there with the case. Just a regular edition of the game is just sitting in there. So, yeah, very weird, but I love it.
I absolutely love it. And
I wanted to tell you about this box though. This box is always in trash condition because there's so much air around it because that case isn't protecting anything. There's no the cardboard structure is really thin. If you want this, you're going to pay more for a nice copy, and it is going to be a lot harder to get a nice copy because this thing is always trashed. Just a warning.
I love it, Johnny. So I would have thought this is like comically prohibitively expensive, but when we're talking $800 for a nice copy of Pokemon Emerald, like, all right, maybe like $600, $700, and $900 for like the super cool rare big box, like whatever, just get the big box at that point. If you're like already blowing this much money on Pokemon Emerald, get like the super cool rare version at least.
Yeah.
The price of Pokemon Emerald. What are you guys doing? Someone tell me what's with Pokemon Emerald. I don't get it. It's just a game. It's a random middle game. It'll always be a random middle game. Send it back to $300. Down to the floor with the rest of you.
I wanted to tell you something about the Japanese release of this game, though.
Tell me something about the Japanese release.
Did you know that the Japanese editions at this game, like we've already abandoned the wireless adapter here, but in Japan, they're still putting the wireless adapter in there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, and those games are way cheaper too.
$100. You can get an Emerald for $100 with a wireless adapter, no problem.
Yeah, maybe just go get all the Japanese Pokemon games and just be happy. If you're like listening to these prices and you're like, what, that's $600 for Pokemon Fire Red? Just get all of them for $600.
Yeah, you could do it. Oh, and when you get the tin does have like a little cardboard wraparound. So if you're not getting a new sealed one, you're probably not going to get that. So just if you want all the stuff, just know. Also, if you've got a big box and you're like, oh man, how am I ever going to find that carrying case? That carrying case shows up on eBay. You can get that for like between $30 and $50 kind of all day. So it's not that hard to find it.
Johnny, we've reached the end of most of the collectible Pokemon games. We've got a couple more coming, but we're dropping down from $800 Pokemon Emerald to Pokemon Diamond and Pearl on the Nintendo DS. A little bit more durable. It's like a $65 game now. A little bit crazy that...
Before we go there, we are going to get to GameCube and N64. We're just going through the mainline games first, right?
Yeah.
Just for the people. Okay.
So a little bit crazy that all these games sold absolute gangbusters, and now we're into like the durable box. Like we rated Nintendo DS the best box in our box episode, I think.
Yes.
Or at least it was up there in the top 3. And this still appreciated double in price since it came out like 20 years ago. And it doubled used. And also all of these games, like a really big portion of the price is the cartridge. Like, you'll look at DS cartridges that are like 70% the price of the complete in-box Pokemon game. People do not give a shit about putting it on their shelf. People just want to play Pokemon Diamond. They just want to go back and play it. It's crazy.
You can really tell the games that people want to play when you look at the price disparity between a complete copy and then just the cartridge or disc version in some horrible cases. But yeah, if you see that thing is commanding more than 60% of the price of a game, that means it is a game that is in demand to be played. Well, so that's a fun thing I like to look at when I'm checking prices of games. Also, a caution for anyone just buying DS games. DS games are faked a lot. And it is relatively hard to find, like when someone does a good fake, it's pretty hard to tell. So you're best off buying complete DS games, even though that sounds like, oh, I don't care, I just want to play it. But the more stuff it has, the less likely that all of it is faked. Though people do just sell the cases all by themselves and then put fake cartridges in. So you need to be careful, but we're talking about mitigating risk.
I'm pretty sure the first thing that happens for anyone who starts working at a game store is you have to learn how to identify fake Pokemon, GBA, and DS games, because you're going to get so many of them traded in.
Yeah, and like a lot of times it has to do with the code. Like for the DS, it's like the printed code on the back of the game and like on the teeth, on the copper teeth. So like just double check those codes. And then if you're buying GBA games, also super faked, especially now. But easier to open those up and just be like, nope, this is a fake. So be careful out there.
Johnny, these came Diamond and Pearl have a pre-order bonus.
I love this.
That you like for some reason.
I love these. Like, they're just styluses, right? So, like, the idea of the DS is you were going to play a stylus. So, like, back in the early days of DS, everything came with an extra stylus because, like, oh, you got to use a stylus for this touchscreen. Here's this giant, unwieldy, like, poorly weighted stylus with a giant Pokemon figure hanging off the ass of it. Please enjoy. But I liked them because they came on blister cards, and they're not very expensive. You can get, like, $40. Also, this was in the era that Target was doing pre-orders, and like Target doesn't do that many pre-orders now, or it's like digital, but you could go in and like would be a card. It'd be like a $5 gift card, and you'd be like, okay, I'm going to pre-order this game, and it have like a picture, like have some art on it, sometimes just the box art, sometimes unique art. And then when the game came out, you came in and you cashed your gift card. So you got like $5 off the game from the gift card that you've already purchased. Not really money off because you bought it, but then you got like this cool little pre-order card. I think that's super neat. And sometimes people still include those in there, and I think that's super fancy. But most of those got thrown away, so you know,
I love
just
fun
stuff
that
to
got
have.
thrown away, Johnny. I like it.
This is a Josh Byerly special. I know he loves these.
The only the only one of those I think I have in my collection is the pre-order little bonus thing that you bought for $5 for Watchmen for the Xbox 360. Not exactly a classic.
You don't have the Wii one? Like when you bought the Wii, it came with like a glowing, like a battery operated Target card. So like Wii on it?
I got a midnight launch at Walmart. And by midnight launch, I mean I waited an extra 8 or 9 hours for it to open at 9 a.m. because they ended up not having a midnight launch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Johnny,
Anyways.
Interesting one next. And by interesting, I mean the most interesting thing we could say about Pokemon Platinum. This is one of those third games that's sort of like Diamond and Pearl combined. This is actually cheaper than Diamond or Pearl. And it could just be because it's so damn common. Is this the one that has Palkia on the box? I'll never know because I can't keep them straight. Considering the pre-order bonus was a Giratina figure, I'm going to guess Giratina's on the box, actually.
Yes.
You can go get that pre-order Giratina figure for $30. Or
you can buy the Platinum game just for $45, right? You can just get it for $45. Not bad.
Cheap.
For a DS Pokemon game, that feels really good. $45?
Yeah. It's almost like they sold millions and millions and millions of them.
But I'm a Pokemon collector. I spend Pokemon money. Let's spend $900-ish. How about that?
I would say don't do that.
Let's do it.
So there's a big box pre-order version that came with the Giratina figure inside of it. So this isn't like it's like its own packaging that it's like, hey, get the game and the figure. Yeah. And now we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for this $45 game combined with this $30 figure.
but it comes in a cardboard box now.
That's a cool cardboard box.
Right? You want
I
that.
am so out on this. So I am all the way in on the Pokemon Emerald because it's already like one of the most expensive Pokemon games. And then for just like a little bit percentage more, you can get the super cool big box version. And the big box of that is just a bigger box of the original box, which I think it's like comical. It's amazing. It's a special edition now. We come with the figure. It's not as not it's a $900 version of a $45 game. It's not as interesting.
It's not as exciting as a box, and this pretty much begins a trend with Pokemon where they're like kind of making these big boxes around, and that like $900 is a pretty soft price. I think they've definitely gone for more. Sure, they've gone for less, but like 900-ish is average. And again, these boxes are cheap, so nice boxes go for even more. So yeah, the price could be, if you told me you found one for $300, I wouldn't be surprised. If you told me you spent $2,000 on a mint one, I also would not be shocked. But this is very much like the Emerald box, because it's just slightly bigger than the case, like in height and width, not in depth.
Yeah, but it's got like, it doesn't have the box art on it like at a diagonal angle.
It does. Yeah, it's not. It's like,
get out of here.
It's like it screams PC budget edition.
Exactly. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, it does have the art on it, but it's got the full case art. Like, you didn't need to make it ugly. You could have made this nice and cool. So, anyways, I'm not in on this one particularly because again, it's another carrying case edition, but it's just not as interesting. I do like the figure as a pre-order bonus, but not the big box. Too expensive.
Johnny, we've arrived at the best Pokemon games that have ever been made.
So it's black and white?
Just partially kidding. Because I think this is like getting to the end of where I can deal with how much they've rehashed everything up until this point. Partially because it has the best art style I think Pokemon has ever had before they went full 3D, because believe it or not, the DS and 3DS and even the Switch are all very underpowered 3D devices, and I just don't think any of the 3D Pokemon games look good at all. But Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, with its semi-3D overworld and 2D sprites, man, that game looks good. It's another freaking remake. But man, it's got like 400 Pokemon in them combined. These are some good ass games, Johnny, and I think a lot of people agree with me. For you, someone who's never played any of the Pokemon games, I think you should pay attention. If you're gonna play one, maybe play Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
I know my wife played the crap out of these. The dog ate the pedometer that came with us. If you bought the big box version of it, or was that the only version? Was the big box?
I think the only version was big box, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
I think that's accurate. But I had to go buy another pedometer because she was really upset that the dog ate hers. So
I mean, I would be too, dude. I was carrying my Pokemon around, getting steps in. I think you could slowly level your Pokemon up just by walking around with them outside.
Yeah, and these are, I'm calling them pedometers, but colloquially known as Pokewalkers, right? So there's a thing, and this comes in a bigger box. So it does come with just a standard DS case inside the cardboard box. But yeah, they have a special insert in there for the Pokewalker as well. And I have a big box of Heart Gold. Actually, I have 2 Heart Gold of the boxes. I need a Soul Silver box.
Yeah, I pre-ordered both of these from Amazon to get the pre-order figures, Johnny, because it comes with a Ho-Oh and a Lugia figure. And to get those boxed figures now, it's like $30 each. But also, I pre-ordered it from the wrong retailer.
Yes, you did. You should have gone to Walmart. It's not something I'm comfortable saying, but you should have gone to Walmart.
The Walmart pre-order edition of Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So Amazon, they just shipped you the figures in like an Amazon box. There was nothing special about it. They're completely separate. The Walmart Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the figure is built into the box. It's like a long box, and the figure's on the side of it. And it's got its own unique packaging.
It's a windowed box, too, so you get to see the figure.
Yep. And these go for like $1,000 to $3,000. Like, it's so hard to even nail down a price because they're so rare, and because rare for Pokemon. And the prices are just astronomical.
Yeah, there was one that went for like, I saw a Soul Silver go for like 600, but then you got like buy it nows of 1,500. You've got buy it nows for 800. The price is all over on this box, and I don't know. I've never physically held one of these boxes, so I don't know what's going on. But there was a buy it now just in April, right, for 2,900. You're like, what is happening? There was one with buy it now, best offer accepted at 3,700. But then there's one that goes for 6. I don't know where the disparity in this price is coming from, but man, the price is all over. And a reason to know that this game did come with the walker is because you will see graded versions of this game. Just like come back to that, like people will have them in like slabbed, but it won't be the big box slab because they like Wata didn't make cases to accommodate that big box. So they take it out of the big box and then slab it, the sealed one. That's gross. Don't do this. Don't buy that version. Please make sure you have the full big box. And if you have to go to VGA or wherever, do that, but don't open one of these to get it graded by Wata and then not have it in its box.
I don't think anyone's doing that at this point anymore. But
no, maybe not anymore. But like, there was a sealed one just sold, Wata graded 9.8 for $1,200.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe don't do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't do that. Like, go to VGA if you've got to do this. But yeah. Anyways.
I'm giving the thumbs down to the Walmart ridiculously priced one. This is my favorite Pokemon game, and I'm saying the most collectible version. You don't need it, because you know what? The regular packaging, the regular big box edition of these games looks so good. They've got like these shiny gold and silver. They're in big boxes, but it's just like the slightly thicker boxes. So they're just like chunky boxes. Oh, they're so good. They look so good together. Gold and silver. You have all these stupid combinations like Violet and Scarlet, Sword and Shield, but they got the Heart Gold and Soul Silver together. Oh, it's so good. 10 out of 10 for these games. 9 out of 10 for these games.
And the big box is just slightly bigger than the DS case.
Yeah.
So they still look good on your shelf with the rest of it. So like it still conforms to what's going on, which is what I like about them. So yeah, 100% go grab these.
And I don't know if we said they're like $300, which is the floor price for Pokemon games.
I mean, you can buy them without the big box and pedometer and get them for much less, but don't do that. Like if you're collecting it, go do this. Like my copy of Soul Silver is messed up because I found like a good deal without the case, and then I somehow wound up. I don't know how I wound up with a Heart Gold box, an addition to this. My wife and her friend play Pokemon, so they would just pick which edition they were gonna get. Like, oh, you go get this one, I'll get this one, and then we can trade. But I wish I would have just bought both of them at the time of release. I made a mistake.
Always buy both Pokemon games. If you're going to buy one, you're going to be upset if you don't buy the other, even if it's always a bad choice at this point.
Yep. Well, I mean, and they know that. As I said, they've just started packaging them together now. So they're just like, okay, who cares?
Johnny, tell me about more Pokemon DS games.
Well, would you like to hear about Pokemon Black and White?
Sure.
Hey, cool. So they're about $100.
We're going like way up in price.
Yeah. Suddenly, like, I don't know if Black and White are good. I don't know anything about them. I know my wife had Black. There are some variants for this game. Like there's a couple different variants, I'm pretty sure, but there's definitely a code variant on both Black and White. Like the Black one comes with Lucario. Tyler, do you want to tell people about Lucario?
No, I don't want to tell people about Lucario.
Okay.
The people who know about Lucario already know about Lucario.
Okay.
You sick perverts.
Anyways, so there's a code variant, and this is much like the Jirachi variant that comes with Pokemon Coliseum is just like, oh, you've got a download code for this. And like basically at this point in DS, they start to have releases where you can just go, like they essentially would have Pokemon days where you could go to GameStop or Best Buy and get a little download. So this one's just a little extra Pokemon you could get with that. There is also pre-orders for this. Toys R Us had one that came with a Zekrom or Zekrom Walkling. And what is Resharam? I don't know how.
I only put the Pokemon to make you pronounce them.
Yeah. Resharam. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know Pokemon names because I never played these and never had to pronounce them. But there's Walklings if you want some pre-orders, because every Pokemon has a pre-order. And all of them have
those
like
for sale, Johnny.
Yeah. But they exist, so keep your eyes out, kids. And then, did you know they released a Pokemon Black and White too?
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think, has there been a direct sequel like that in Pokemon up to this point?
No, usually it'd be like Pokemon Beige and Pokemon Gray or something, not Black 2 and White 2.
As far as I know, these are direct story. I mean, it makes sense, but these are direct story continuing the story of Black and White, which is interesting because, like, just by doing that, that guarantees that they're not going to sell as well as
yes,
as a new Pokemon game.
Definitely hurting the value of these. And this is where you start to get in. Man, there's so many DS releases. Like, there's so many releases of this game that are like console variants and stuff. These games were all over. And I forget what the variant is, and we didn't write it down, but both White 2 and Black 2 have a variant, but these go for like $160, which is crazy that the price is going up. The pre-order here came with a Claudio poster, and that's pretty available, even though it says Black and White on it, and it's $10. There's distribution carts of this. We've got stylus bundles. There's all kinds of stuff going on with Black and White too. So if you like variants, you can start to find them. And this is where you start to see like the special edition Pokemon guides as well that are like hardcover. And it's like, oh, you can get the soft cover. You can get this foil embossed hardcover. And like, who gives a shit? But yeah, the merchandising is going crazy at this point.
Bulbapedia says that Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 came with that Keldeo poster, but they have a Black and White 1 logo on it, so I think that Bulbapedia is just wrong. But those posters are available. Johnny, these games are so expensive because they only sold 8 million copies.
Oh, so they're rare and hard to find.
Yes. You see, I have heard some people say that these are their favorite Pokemon game. The problem is that almost every game you'll hear someone say is their favorite Pokemon game, but apparently these are very good.
Well, and what's interesting too, like, because it's a direct continuation. So if you're invested in the story, like if you like the first one, you're going to pay more to go get the second one. If you want more of it. So, makes sense to me that this could be more expensive. Not that I think I want to pay $160 for a DS game, but I have, I guess why not this, right? Glad I bought these on release.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have these. Maybe I have like White 2, but whatever. It's crazy. I'm not buying these. There's a point in everyone's life where they're like, oh, should I just buy all the Pokemon games? Gotta catch them all. And I'm past it. Like, man, I don't have Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, whatever.
I mean, you got to step up your game, right?
Johnny, Pokemon X and Y.
Ooh, get into the 3DS. Let's do it.
I think I played Pokemon Y and quickly gave up on it. And I'm like, it's still stupid Pokemon. It's like $30. I think we're going to stop giving prices at this point because like we're getting into such modern games where they're so durable and common and
they're just the price.
Exciting.
Yeah, they're roughly MSRP still.
There are 2 pre-order posters, one of Xerneas, and if you pre-ordered both posters, you got a Pokemon timeline, which showed Pikachu and a timeline of the games up until that point. Only if you were willing to buy both 3DS games. There's also pre-order pins of Xerneas and Yveltal, which are the guys on the box. Yeah, if you pre-ordered it from Target. Whatever. It's Pokemon X and Y. I'm already at like 1 out of 10 in how much I want to collect these.
Oh no, you should go get these. Go get them.
I kind of like all the DS ones, like Pokemon Black and Black 2 and White 2. I think it's interesting that there's a story continuation, a little bit unique in the Pokemon series. So, I'm in on collecting those, but like X and Y, like we're back to like, okay, we're getting into more stupid Pokemon. Who cares? And you're gonna tell me that there's a code variant. I don't know what this means.
So this is like what I was talking about with Black and White, where you could get a download. Basically, it comes with the download code. So for X, there's a Garchomp and Scizor for Pokemon Y. Just a download code inside.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, but it's a box variant because it has like a little badge on the front that says this that wouldn't otherwise have it. I
almost called you Pokemon. It's getting late.
But these ones do, like with the code, it usually commands a little bit more money. So we will like, oh, these are $30, and then suddenly you're paying double the cost for that code. Sometimes you just find them super cheap. So look around. The cart is going to be exactly the same though. So just know that.
Johnny.
Yeah.
It's 2014. Pokemon is not even 20 years old. It's in like the 16 to 18 year range. We are on the 3rd generation of remakes.
Oh my goodness.
With Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. They make so many Pokemon games, and they're like, man, we just don't have our ideas. We're just going to make the old ones again, too. Even though the new ones are so similar to the old ones.
So what's the problem?
Go get them on 3DS. They're not worth anything. Tell me the pre-order bonuses. You can go to Toys R Us, and you could have got a Mega Charizard X or a Mega Charizard Y plushie. One of those looks like a Charizard. The other one looks like a black Charizard. Those are like $15 each. You can go get those. Or at GameStop, we're getting into like the worst pre-order bonuses. You could have got a double-sided poster. If you got a poster as a pre-order bonus, man, I used to get posters in the box on Super Nintendo. Don't give me this pre-order bonus. That's not a bonus. That should already be in the game.
Put it in the box. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Put it in the box to make the game more valuable
and
when people lose it.
I bet you can't even, like, the posters wouldn't even fold up to go in the box. So, like, what am I going to do with a loose poster? If they gave me a poster and it was, like, folded up so that I could put it in the box instead of hang it up, oh, man, that would be a good pre-order bonus.
Would be pretty good. Would love it.
What's this $400 double pack you've got here?
Okay, so there's just a double pack of Omega Ruby and Sapphire together, and it's like $400-ish, and it comes with potions. You want some potions included?
What? Like digital potions for the game?
Yeah, yes. Mm-hmm. Not real potions.
Johnny, what is this?
It's a double. Two
Why
pack.
is this so expensive?
I don't know. I don't know what the deal with this is. I think we have this. I can't remember. But yeah, it's just like has some in-game items. That's what it says. Bonus in-game items includes codes for 200 potions.
Is this the first physical double pack of Pokemon? Is this historic? Is this where they just like said like fuck it, capitalism? People
I think so. Maybe that's it. Maybe because it was first and then everyone FOMO'd because this double pack was hard to find. Maybe that's the reason. But
this is when they stopped pretending that you weren't buying both.
Yeah, they were like, fuck it, guys. Here, we made it easier. Like, I want to say maybe this was like, maybe it was Best Buy where this was. I can't remember exactly. But you know what I don't like is the European copies of these games. Like, Omega Red came in a red case and Blue came in a blue case. And I'm just like, man, that's cool. I like that they're blue. Like, the case matches the game. Weak sauce that we didn't do that here.
Yeah, I think they could have afforded that for Pokemon, right?
Right. And then Like European got like they got like a weird bundle where you got like a steel book, and we didn't get the steel book here. Like they had like the big box with steel books. Yeah, like I don't know why we got this bad 2-pack edition. It was really dumb.
It's historic, Johnny. It's the first one.
Historic, but worse than everywhere else got. Like Japan got like a large cardboard box where they're packaged together, so then at least it like looked like something big and neat. This just isn't doing it.
I care so little about these games that listening to all the worldwide packaging variants is like actually exhausting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's more than that because Tyler, if you don't want to get like a package variant like that, how about just a regular version? Like if you bought this individual copy, how about just a variant of that, which includes some in-game codes? Are you into in-game codes as a variant?
I mean, kind of, yeah, but not,
all right.
not for these.
Well, all right. Well, here's a little badge on the front of your box that says, hey, here's 5 Super Potion and 5 Revives and 10 Quick Balls. Cool. So you can get a box variant of that.
That's
Very
like
exciting.
10 minutes worth of grinding money. That's so lame.
Yeah, and it does have a special insert which comes inside too that has that code. So, it like at least there's some content variant. What I hate about the 2-pack box in America is it's just so boring. The spine is so boring. It is the laziest looking box I've ever seen.
You got anything more to say about Omega Ruby and whatever the other one is?
You don't know that it's called Sapphire, Alpha Sapphire,
Alpha and Omega. This is the
Alpha
God Pokemon game,
yeah.
and I
the
could
beginning and the end of Pokemon. This is where it all falls off.
I think so. This is reserved investments on YouTube has made fun of these games a lot. I think this might be like all these games have been hoarded sealed. Obviously, I think there's a lot of Heart Gold and Soul Silver particularly, but like this is when people like really started hoarding like case packs of these like, Pokemon is the most popular thing ever, and it's very clear now. Let me buy 20 copies of Pokemon Omega Ruby. That's going to be the investment.
Yep, you should do it. You should also buy
probably at least doubled this Pokemon. Right?
Yeah, you're gonna make your money. But let's move on. Let's talk. We talked about the beginning and the end, so why not go on to Pokemon Sun and Moon? A beginning and end of sorts.
I gave Pokemon another shot. I got pretty hyped for Sun and Moon, Johnny.
What was your rating? Hold on. What was your rating for X and Y and Alpha and
1 and 1. I zero care about the 3DS games.
Okay, Sun and Moon. You're back in on Sun and Moon, though.
Back. I got excited. I pre-ordered these games. I was like, you know what? This looks different. I was so sick. Like, Pokemon on these regions that are just all the same, and people would be like, oh, no, you don't understand. You've is different. But this one, like, took place on an island that is, like, Hawaii-themed, and there were different Pokemon. They had Hawaiian versions of your favorite Pokemon, the Alolan versions. And this is the game where one of my favorite Pokemon comes from, which is Alolan Dugtrio, which is just Dugtrio, and all the 3 little penis guys have long blonde hair, and it's hilarious and it's wonderful. And
is it Diglett?
But it's the evolution of Diglett.
Oh, floor shit.
God damn it. Me and Ada both played this game at the same time, so I was playing it with my wife. And goddamn, it's the same, like, tutorial, goes on forever, treats me like I'm 6 years old. It's the same goddamn Pokemon game, and I didn't even finish it again. This was just, like, the most disappointing thing. I thought it was, like, finally going to be a revolution, like, finally the modern Pokemon game I'm looking for, and it's still basically Pokemon Red and Blue all these years later. Oh, just absolutely devastatingly, disappointingly boring.
Did it have Surfing Pikachu in it?
I guarantee there's a Surfing Pikachu in it.
Okay, cool.
Johnny, you could have pre-ordered this from GameStop and got a poster, absolute trash. But if you went to Toys R Us, which is getting a lot less popular by this point, you could have got a poster, an Electabuzz trading card, like from the Pokemon TCG. And
I love all the Pokemon games that come with a card. That's awesome. Love it.
And a collector's album for the TCG. Also, I bet these promo cards are so common, you could probably just go grab one on eBay because everyone saves their Pokemon cards.
I'm going to go buy one and put it in my game and feel better about it.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. That's a good thing to go do. I hate this game so much that I'm definitely not going to do that.
Yeah, you are. You're joining me.
Nope. Maybe if it's less than $5 shipped.
Okay.
At Target, they had a poster and another poster. Oh my God.
Woo, two posters
awful.
for the price of one.
I don't know. We didn't write pin badges and Pikachu promo card. Was that also at Target? Maybe Target had a bunch of stuff. But there's also a Pikachu promo card that was a promo for Sun and Moon. Another good thing to get to put in your box.
Yeah.
And if you pre-ordered it at PAX West specifically, we messed something up here. Yeah. At PAX West specifically, you got a big poster. I'm sorry. At Target, I messed up the formatting. At Target, you got a poster and the Pikachu TCG card. If you pre-ordered it at PAX West, you got like a 3-foot long poster. Whatever. Who is collecting Pokemon posters? You have your work cut out for you. The only cool posters in video game collecting are those Konami posters. Where did you order those? Nintendo Power or something?
Maybe from the manual, or wasn't it like wasn't there
Was
an
it
offer?
from like Konami manual? Whatever it was from. I
There's
just
a
saw Divertop
poster.
just posted his collection. He's got a Stinger poster from that series right there. That is such a cool set of posters. I love those posters. Every other poster can just forget about it.
Okay.
All right. Forget about the pre-orders. John, you can get a big box double pack of Sun and Moon that includes 3 starter figures for $100. That is also some kind of exclusive.
Yep.
Was that from Target?
I don't remember where all of these came from because there's a bunch of them.
Okay, I think it was from Target, but if you bought both Sun and Moon, you would get a little PVC figure of the starters as well, and you can get that for like $100 on eBay.
Yeah, this begins the ridiculous like double packs for every store phase, and it's awful. So you've got a double pack that comes with the Steelbook. Cool, $200 for that one. You've got a double pack that comes with just Pokeballs, but it looks a lot like the Steelbook one. They just took the Steelbook off the front of it. Obviously didn't make room for the Steelbook. That's a thing you can get.
I'm sorry, with Pokeballs meaning digital Pokeballs?
Yes. You off in-game item inside. Woo! Love them digital codes. And then even down to the individual game, you can get them in a big box as well, because in Sun you could get Solgaleo figure, and then the Moon Lunala, whatever. Anyways, you got 2 figures, 2 little PVC figures you can get, and those boxes are gigantic. That's bigger than the Steelbook box because they have to accommodate these figures. So these are like they still are like the size of a DS case, but they're super fat. So that's a thing. And then they have like other weird ones where Target has this. This is my favorite variant. Target has a little sticker on the front, and it's underneath the seal, but it's a Target concession offer. Like, buy this copy here and then like go sit in our concession area and get like a free drink and hot dog or something. Like what is this kind of offer? Like, just hang out in Target and have a drink and a hot dog on us. Very weird.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a little sticker on the front of it, but you can do it.
Johnny, I want to talk about the big box variant, one that has a Steelbook and one that doesn't. And we talked about this with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but this is the first one in America. This is such goddamn bullshit. Creating a class of haves and have-nots over a 50-cent piece of aluminum out of the customers who are literally pre-ordering and buying both of your bullshit games at full price is ridiculous. Just give them the Steelbook. Why do there have to be 2 variants? You know what it is? They want people to buy both variants. They want people to buy this game 4 times instead of 2 times.
The worst part about this is the Steelbook just comes in the back and you can put both games in there, but then like, what are you doing with the case? Like, then the box wouldn't be... I hate this. I hate this so much. I wish the game was just a Steelbook inside that cardboard box that had both games, and then it could have been thinner, but they put both the cases and then the Steelbook in the back. I hate it. And the Steelbook is like slightly smaller than a DS case. Yeah. Anyways.
Johnny, let me, so 1 out of 10 for Pokemon Sun and Moon. Let me talk about a reason for that. Let me talk about Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Oh.
So I
That's
don't know
where
why
they decided not to go with 1 and 2 on the end because it hurt sales.
I don't even, are these like sequels, or is this just like,
how would
I think
I
this is
know?
a better version of Sun and Moon. Like, it has like the differences and all that, but whatever. So I got caught up in the hype cycle for Sun and Moon, and I was super disappointed by it. I thought it was super lame and just a generic Pokemon game. And then, like 6 months later, I thought it was going to be like the ultimate Pokemon game because I was in the hype cycle. Then 6 months later, they announced Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as if to say, like, oh yeah, by the way, the games that you bought, you thought those were like going to be the ultimate Pokemon games. Those suck. Go get the Ultra versions of these games that came out a year later.
That's crazy. That's insanity. I can't believe they did that to you.
I mean, it's already the entire point of the series is to scam kids, basically, to get them to buy all these games over and over again.
Hey kids,
so I deserved
FOMO.
Yeah, and to get you on the FOMO. Do you want to know? You could have pre-ordered the Ultra versions, Johnny. You went to the Pokemon Center website. You got a 4-inch plush of one of the 3 starters, but I bet if you pre-ordered both of them, you probably got all 3 of those starters.
Ooh.
There are pre-order keychains. Duskmane, Necrozuma, and Dawnwings. Cool. There's a pre-order coin in a pouch. That's got to be the coolest pre-order thing because we love coins. And again, they have the double pack with a steelbook and the double pack without a steelbook.
Yep. Awesome. And the steelbook looks very similar to the original one. I hate it.
But from the prices, you're telling me the double pack with the steelbook is actually cheaper?
Like the prices vary. Like I'm not solid on these prices, so they're probably very close to the same.
Okay. All right, man. Ultra Sun. So I was already at an all-time low with Pokemon after playing Sun and Moon. Love Alolan Dugtrio, but I was like, all right, I'm pretty much, these games are never going to change. And then after Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were announced, I basically checked out of the series forever at that point.
You're like, that's it. We all done here. We all done.
After that, Johnny, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. This is our 4th series of remakes. This is our 2nd remake of Gen 1 Pokemon. These games are actually super cool though. So I'm not going to harp on it too much because these are like, they have different mechanics than Pokemon, which is like the worst part about Pokemon is the mechanics never freaking change. And they actually like sped up how you catch Pokemon and like tried to make it more fun. It was like super weird. Imagine that, making your super slow, grindy, boring game actually like a little bit faster and more fun. And they did all of that in a remake because they were too scared to try it in a mainline release.
Do you think that is the reason for the re-release immediately? They're like, let's just give this a shot.
I guess. I don't know. Like, they weren't that lame with their other remakes. Or, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. I think they were thinking people love nostalgia. I think we're entering the age. This is Nintendo Switch. So we're entering the age where everyone just cares about nostalgia and remakes and doing the same thing over again. So it probably wasn't that they couldn't have made a new game. It's like, oh, well, we don't have to. Let's just give them what they already know and love.
All right.
You pre-ordered these from the Pokemon website. You got a 4-inch plush keychain. Oh, yeah. You pre-ordered from GameStop. You got a poster. Great.
Ew.
Now, the cool part about these is that they come in a really big box. Not like super big, but compared to a Switch case, it's like 7 Switch cases put together. And it's only like $100 complete in box. I thought these would be worth more because these boxes are very thin and shitty.
They are.
And it comes with the Pokeball Plus, which was actually a Pokemon Go accessory. So the only reason I personally bought this game was for the little plus for my wife to play with Pokemon Go. And I think you could have bought it separately, but she played the game too.
Yeah, you might as well get the more collectible version, right?
Yeah.
And I always thought, when I was looking at these, I'm like, I bet Let's Go Eevee is going to be the more collectible one in the future because fewer of these are going to sell. Everyone's definitely going to buy Pikachu. I don't know.
Is that true?
I have no idea. That's just what I thought when I was buying it.
I mean, Eevee is just also one of those top Pokemon that people love. I think I'm so sick of Pikachu that I'll pick an Eevee thing every time over Pikachu. We have the Eevee version. I didn't buy both. I'm sick of freaking Pokemon.
Got them both.
Yep. You know what? I bought mine on Amazon and it got crushed in the mail. It was just like a little dent. So just got to deal with that forever. Because I'm never buying this again.
Anyways, can you still buy these? I think they're still out.
I thought not. I don't think so. You could buy like the regular version, but those Pokemon bundles, once those were gone. So you can't get those anymore new.
Okay.
Still, this game, what is this? It's like a 7-year-old game, still $50 on Amazon. And They made these games greatest hits.
Gross. Don't love it. And this game has gone on sale a bunch of times too. So it was like a $30 game a bunch of times.
I'm sure.
So
remember when Nintendo games never went on sale?
Yep. Not true anymore. Now, I mean, it's still mainline Marios and Zeldas and stuff usually don't, but more and more you start to see smaller discounts coming out. And then we get Pokemon Sword and Shield. How much do you love Pokemon Sword and Shield?
This is the era of Pokemon where I think I was railing on Game Freak the hardest for being like the most untalented, least ambitious, worst developer in video games. Because these games, I have not played Sword and Shield, but they look horrible in terms of graphics and just like overall quality.
Okay, but what if I told you if you pre-ordered it from Best Buy, you got a coin in a pouch?
I mean, I'm in on the coin, so this sounds like, all right, so we're talking like IGN 9.5 minimum, right?
Probably. Now, what if I told you there's a double pack?
Whoa.
Now, what if I told you that there's nearly an identical double pack, but one of them came with the steelbook?
Johnny, this is the game. So I bought these because I'm an idiot. I saw that double pack and I didn't realize that they'd been releasing double packs with the steelbook for a while. And I'm like, oh, I want the double pack with the steelbook. Oh, just collecting Switch. Everyone loves collecting video games. And then I bought the double pack without the steelbook because I didn't realize that they had two different variants of the double packs. And I'm never going to correct that mistake. I'm just going to live with my shitty copy of Pokemon Sword and Shield.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I bought this one and I remember being like, oh, fuck. I pre-ordered it and then had to cancel the pre-order because then I realized it was a steelbook version. And it was the same price. It was the same stupid price.
Yep. Just the haves and have-nots. You're a have, I'm a have-not.
Yeah, I remember being very annoyed with that. So, yeah, pretty cool. What can you say about it? Go buy this if you give a shit about this. Yeah.
You want to talk about the fifth set of Pokemon remakes in 20 years?
Go ahead. Tell me
5 generations.
Tell me about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
I know nothing. I know nothing about Pokemon Diamond or Pearl, so I know nothing about Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl. It's another remake. You could pre-order at the Pokemon Center, and you would get a plush keychain. And if you pre-order both, you would get all 3 plush keychains of the set.
My gosh!
Wow, Johnny, this has a double pack. I'm still on the 1 out of 10. You know what? I didn't go. I'm gonna give Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu. I'm gonna give those like 7 out of 10. I like those.
You know, there's
Sword
also
and Shield are back to 1. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl back to 1. Get out of here.
There's also a pre-order pin set that you could get too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Pins.
Very cool. Hey, don't knock those.
You know what the coolest pins are? So the whole thing in Pokemon is when you beat a gym leader, they give you a pin. That's your gym badge. So you get a bootleg. So you go to like any convention, they'll have bootleg series of like the actual badges that you would get from the gyms in the different games. Just go get a bootleg badge set. That's way cooler than any of these pre-order pins.
See, this is what I like to hear. Apparently there was a pen set, not pin, but pen as like a writing implement that you could also get.
Cool.
Cool,
I mean,
right?
everyone's waiting for their Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl pens.
There was also some keychains available. I don't know if that was just handed out by people when you bought it or if it was a pre-order bonus, but there's some really shitty keychains you could also get. Are you into it?
I'm not.
Oh,
No.
me either. I hate these things. Now, can I tell you about one other pre-order bonus though, which was kind of amazing?
What?
Okay, it's the only thing you're going to be in on. In Japan, they had a little Pikachu soy sauce dish that if you pre-ordered the double pack.
That is so dumb. This has got to be, there's got to be a list of like dumbest pre-order bonuses or like most obscure.
It's so good. There's two of them, and it's like Pikachu, and like one he's like curled up, and one he's like laying down, looking straight on. Like, it's great. I love this. I love this pre-order bonus so very much. Like, I wish we had got that in America.
This is the kind of creativity we need from like the bullshit limited editions from limited run games. Like, forget this pins and stickers, like posters, like this generic garbage. Like, you put like a really high quality Pikachu soy sauce dish. Like, that's something unique. That's something people might actually want. Maybe they'll even open the game so they could use it.
Oh man, I'm totally in on this little soy sauce plate. I'm like, I should go buy this. My wife would love this little soy sauce thing. She would love it. Anyways, go listeners, go check this out. If you bought the double pack, you got two. If you bought the individual game, you just got one. So that's a really hard choice there, like which one you're going to get. So anyways, that's the most fun I have to talk about this. Like, what else in the age of like giant disappointments, this is the best I can do.
I mean, I'm sure people love all these games.
I'm sure.
I've been out for so long. We're at bullet point 21 on our list. So there's been a lot of Pokemon games. These are remaking Pokemon games that came out after the first set of remakes. So Fire Red and Leaf Green came out, and then Diamond and Pearl, and now Diamond and Pearl have been remade as well. So I don't know.
Top-notch stuff.
I don't know what the next Pokemon remakes are, but I think it would be cool if they remade Black and White and Black and White 2, and they made them one game. That might be an interesting reason to remake a video game. I don't know. Especially considering not that many people played Black and White 2, apparently not that many, being only like 7 million.
Yeah, Pokemon Black or Ultra Black or Pitch Black.
Ooh, that's definitely something they would do. And
Pitch Black and Radiant White.
Perfect. Yes. You did it.
You
did it. And design documents for the game. We already made these games, so we already know what to do. And the graphics, It was a DS game, so they don't need to be that great. Look at that, Johnny. You just spitballed that off the top of your head, and you made $300 million for the Pokemon
man.
company.
I too could be a video game designer. Thank God.
Johnny, Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is considered a mainline Pokemon game, and oh my God, it's kind of different. Oh my God, they did it. The 22nd game in our list. It is, I think, maybe a little disappointing. Maybe definitely not as good as Zelda Breath of the Wild. But oh my God, it's not just a regular boring Pokemon game. It's kind of a little open world thing. And if you pre-order it at the Pokemon Center, you could get an Arceus plush and not a stupid 4-inch keychain, a full-size, 6-inch Arceus plush, and you can go get those for like $25 now.
I think I want an Arceus plush.
Sure. I get Arceus and Entei mixed up because I used to, when I think of Arceus in my head, it's a cute little dog, but Arceus is actually a horrifying alien creature. So,
I get them mixed up too because I don't know which is which.
What do you mean? Which is which? What?
I don't know. You could tell me that it's either Pokemon, and I wouldn't know. So
they have nothing to do with one another. I'm just an idiot. All right, anyway, I kind of like Arceus in concept. I know my wife has played it for hundreds of hours, so I don't hate this game. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. You can go and collect an Arceus. Don't get the pre-order version. There's no special edition or anything, but sure, go get it.
Okay.
We have made it, Johnny, all the way to the latest Pokemon game, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. And man, the worst named Pokemon games of all, I'm going to say. They exist. They came
Red
out
and
2
blue?
years ago.
Is Scarlet and Violet, you mean red and blue?
No, Violet doesn't really count as blue, but Scarlet sure counts as red. Like we did not run through every color already. I mean, we could come up with something better. There's no cyan.
I mean, isn't Violet a blue?
Violet's a purple.
No, Violet is blue. I think purple doesn't actually exist.
All right. So we're on to another remake
of red and blue.
No. All right, Johnny, what do you just tell me pre-orders or something?
I don't know, but just it's red and blue. Do you want pre-order bonuses? Do you want to upgrade to a Steelbook edition in your pre-order?
Oh,
That's
really
what you
don't.
Get. Okay. You too could have an extra piece of hardware you can't store anywhere but inside this box. How about some GameStop pins? You want some GameStop pins?
No.
Or not GameStop pins. They're pins from GameStop, but you know what I mean. How about some PVC figures of the starters? We've done that a lot. You know, Pokemon isn't coming out with a lot of new banger ideas on their pre-orders here in America. Same things over and over again. Here you go. Here's a Steelbook. Here's a pin. Here's some PVC figures. Enjoy.
Wow, Brownie, Pokemon giving you the same thing over and over again? That's crazy.
But let's talk about Japan real quick, because there came with a double pack. And you know what goes great with your soy sauce plate? A collectible spoon and fork, Tyler. Come on.
Like, we're talking about a spoon and fork that fit in a Switch Collector's Edition. So it's like one of those miniature collectible spoons, and you also get a fork.
I love this so much.
It's real dumb.
We should get these. We should have 3 of them. Because,
So,
you want a whole set. Like, you got to have enough for everyone to use.
for all of these games, I went to Wikipedia just to look up some basic info, release dates and stuff. And you scroll down to the review scores. And for all of these later games, it is just completely across the board. It's like a bunch of like 6 out of 10s up to Famitsu giving it a 38 out of 40, which is like an absolutely incredible score for Famitsu. And I could see like the people who are looking at it like starry-eyed, like, man, everything Pokemon makes is great. I love these games. And then there's the curmudgeon-y Destructoids of the world giving it a 6 out of 10. Like, I can't believe Pokemon is making these unfinished, unambitious games, and it's the same old bullshit. And I do like that. Usually the gaming press is so homogenous, like, oh, big budget release, we're all going to give it 9s. I do like that there is a lot of hate for Pokemon when it comes out these days.
All right. Even if they give you a spoon?
They do give you a spoon. I mean, that must be why... IGN gave it a 6. But, Famitsu gave it a 38 because they got the spoon and the fork.
They did. Did you know that there is more than one Pokemon spoon and fork available? There's more sets of this available.
Is this like part of the series?
I don't know if it's a series, but like the Pokemon Cafe has like spoons, and then there's some other like fork and spoon sets. If you just type in Pokemon fork and spoon, there's like some obvious like kids ones, but then there's like the metal collector-y ones as well. I don't understand what's happening here, but
oh my god, whoa!
It's a thing that exists.
Why does this exist?
There's a Christmas market one where like Pikachu is in Christmas garb. I don't understand what's happening with Pokemon cutlery, but it exists.
What? Oh, is it because like I don't know if collecting like miniature spoons is more popular in Japan. I remember it used to be a thing, like a grandma hobby in America. Is it that like Pokemon is so popular in Japan that they have captured the grandma collecting spoons market, so they want to give something to her?
I have no idea, but I just think it's funny that more spoons exist out there. Like, cause you'd think like, oh, this is like a weird one-off, but man, you can get whole Pokemon. Like, go to Japan. If you want cups and spoons and forks and plates, you can get it all. The world is your oyster if you're in Japan.
All right. 1 out of 10 for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. If you're going to buy, I can't even say like, if you're going to buy it, just buy it when Switch isn't popular anymore. But like every Pokemon game at least maintains its value. No Pokemon game goes down in value except for like some of the Wii games and stuff.
Did you even tell them about the double pack? Because there's a double pack, and then there's a double pack that looks just like it with a steel book.
There's a double pack and a double pack with a steel book that is separate for some reason. I hate it. It's just the absolute worst.
So dumb. Okay. We've done it. We got through all the mainline games.
Those are the Pokemon games, Johnny.
The mainline games. But
let's,
there are some...
all right, we've got 80 Pokemon games left. Let's start picking up the pace here.
Okay, so we don't need to go through all of them, but let's cover some of the big releases that people are going to be like, what about this one? So let's do that.
Pocket Monster Stadium on the Japanese N64. This game is basically only notable because, one, it comes in an absolutely gigantic box, which is a little bit delightful because it's very thick cardboard. But two, it's not the same game as Pokemon Stadium in the US. Pokemon Stadium is actually the second Pokemon Stadium game. The original Pokemon Stadium game only came out in Japan. It is definitely worse. I don't think it has every Pokemon, even from Gen 1. But it's only like $20. Big box, comes with the transfer pack. So it's a big box that also includes the small box inside it. So just make sure you get in the big box. This game costs nothing. It's got the box has like the motifs of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Green on it. If you like Pokemon, you might as well own this because it's so cheap. You could call it historic, but it's not. Go get it. I like it.
Yeah, and then there's Pokemon Stadium. Everyone knows that on the N64. That game goes for like $160. Comes in a big box. Cool. You like Pokemon Stadium?
I don't know. I'm really nostalgic for Pokemon Stadium, although... If my problem with Pokemon is that it takes too freaking long, then Pokemon Stadium is perhaps not the game that's going to win me over. But I did play the mini games a lot.
And the Stadium comes with a transfer pack as well, right? In the big box?
I mean, another big feature, you could play Pokemon Red and Blue on your N64, and I think it would let you speed it up like 2 or 3x just to grind. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
I didn't know that.
Or, I don't know, am I making that up? I don't think I'm making that up. At the very least, you could play it on the big screen, so... Cool.
I'm not the guy who can fact check you about Pokemon gameplay.
Also, I don't know if there was some special sauce to it, but really dumb that they would only let you play Pokemon Red and Blue if apparently they had the ability to let you play any Game Boy game. Like, this could have just been a Super Game Boy, but wow, we can't let them do that. That would be fun. Gotta keep it thematic.
Yeah, so let's talk about Pokemon Stadium 2, though, because this doesn't come with a transfer pack. It's just a small, regular size box. It is foily, though. It's kind of like a silver box. Looks cool. You like it?
Johnny, this game's $280. I don't know why. I haven't played this one. I can't imagine it's that much better than the first one, but oh my goodness.
Okay, well, so if Pokemon Stadium in America is Pokemon Stadium 2 in Japan, what is this?
This is Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver, which you might have seen anywhere you look in either Japanese auctions or I'm sure like American graded stuff, because this is like one of the most common new old stock games to find in Japan. Just like absolute trash garbage. And I know there are some people who are like, oh, but what about when it runs out? There are like some of those games that don't run out, like Gauntlet Legends. It's the equivalent of Gauntlet Legends in America, where it's just like, yeah, there's enough new copies of it. They will never run out. There will always be a Gauntlet Legends available for you. There will always be a Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver available for you. So don't pay a premium for this just because it's shiny and has Pokemon on it.
You should pay a premium for this. $280. Get it.
Whew. You remember when we did the spend $1,000 on each console episode? And I'm like, man, N64, you just get literally everything, and there's no way you could fit Pokemon Stadium 2 into your budget. So weird.
You sure could not. We left this one into the later list, but I want to just throw it in here. Hey You Pikachu for the N64. Why is it cool? Because you can get it sealed if you want. It comes with a microphone. You can blow into a microphone and talk to Pikachu. It's got a big box. It's like it is noticeable on the shelf because it comes with this big ass microphone that you can play, and it's got like a big yellow ball on it. Nice that they kind of put a little pop filter on it, though. That was cool of them.
Just to make sure that Pikachu can really hear you clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. What's noticeable about this game is it got this used to be like a nothing game that was always just like $50 or whatever. And it has moved up the pricing a little bit. So like you can pay up to $150 for this now. Weird, right?
I like it. It's obviously an awful game / experience. I'm not sure if it technically even qualifies as a video game. But it's one of these things that's like so bad that people will remember how bad it is. You'll see like stupid YouTube videos about it. I'm in on Hey You Pikachu. I'm also in on Pokemon Stadium. Pokemon Stadium 2, whatever. $300 is ridiculous. But
yeah, also like that big box, and it comes with a very specific cardboard inner. So yeah, I like that. Anyways, what else do we got? Let's move on. Let's move to the next generation of consoles, shall we?
Johnny, small game we've never talked about before. Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire. Obviously, make sure you have the outer box. This is a GameCube game. It's not a game. It's a piece of software to manage your Pokemon, which
from the Pokemon Center in New York.
Always needed.
Yeah,
it's actually good. The most frustrating thing about buying both games, as we all did, you would have to have two consoles, and then you'd have to transfer Pokemon one at a time between the two consoles. And because it's Pokemon, where everything takes forever, it took absolutely forever. Plus, you can't just give Pokemon from one person to another. You have to like go and capture some Pidgeys and trade them to your other thing. It's just ridiculous. Having a little station where you could like just transfer your stuff between your games makes so much more sense. There was like paid services on like the 3DS where you could do that afterwards. Anyway, I think it's a good idea. Also, it's a casual like $2,000 to $4,000 complete in box.
Yeah, no big deal. Or you can just buy the Japanese one, right?
Yeah, Japanese one's like $50. It's worthless because everyone in Japan is like, "Oh, this is great. I love organizing my Pokemon." America, we're like, "This isn't even a video game. Get out of here. I want hardcore video games. I'm an adult." Yeah, I've said it before. I like Pokemon Box a lot because it's one of the only Pokemon things that is genuinely rare.
Yep, especially if you are getting it with that outer cardboard sleeve or not sleeve box, which you should. Remember, it comes with a stupid memory card in there, a cable, as well as the game case. So,
Johnny, Pokemon Coliseum.
Love this one. This is a favorite.
All right. So off the bat, I want to say I would have dismissed this as just like a who cares game. Like, God, we're talking to the fourth Pokemon Stadium game at this point. Like, who is even playing these games? I was watching a chase after the right price video because you were in the background. I was trying to find a screenshot of you, and he interviewed a guy and asked him on the spot, "What's your favorite GameCube game?" And right away he said Pokemon Coliseum. And I was so floored by that answer that I can never diss Pokemon Coliseum again. Think of all the incredible games that are on the GameCube. F-Zero GX, Metroid Prime. I haven't played it, but he chose a RPG that's only the battles.
You could just choose anything. And that's what he picked. That's crazy.
And so
it's crazy that he picked that.
That's why this game's $150. But tell me more, Johnny.
Ooh, so not just $150. So there was a bonus disc that came out, and there's many ways that this came out. Like as a pre-order extra, you could get it from like Toys R Us, but it's the bonus disc. Everyone knows about the Pokemon Coliseum bonus disc. Had the movie in it, right? That's cool. You like the movie?
What's the movie?
The Pokemon movie.
There's like a bunch of Pokemon movies.
Oh, I don't know. It just says it comes with the movie. But the real thing you want is the Jirachi that's included with it. So it basically like the code downloads, you had access to an exclusive Pokemon. So that's pretty cool. In your Coliseum, you get a Jirachi. That's nice. And that bonus disc goes for a little bit of money too. So now you're making this like a collectible package for me. Except,
Johnny, a little bit of money. The bonus disc standalone goes for $200. It's more than the game.
Goes for a little bit of money. I don't know why it goes for this much money. It goes for a little bit of money. You could spend some money on this. But Tower, there is a better edition because that you have to have one case and then another case. So that's taking up 2 spots on the shelf. Wouldn't you rather that this bonus disc just came in the case with the game and just take up 1 slot?
Yeah, that's so much better.
So there was a weird pre-order and I'm not sure where it was from, but it looks just like the Pokemon Coliseum front, but there's a little badge in the upper right-hand corner, not quite to the top, but almost to the top. And it just has little flag there, and it's got Jirachi on there, and it's packaged together. On the back, it says, bonus Pokemon Coliseum disc there, and tells you what it comes with. But yeah, so this is like a collectible version, kind of rare, kind of hard to find. You see it for like $700 to $900, up to like $1,300. Pretty neat that this thing exists. Like, my favorite part about it, though, is right where the badge is exactly where the GameStop yellow stickers go. So you may not know. Like, you can look at the back and figure it out, but like, there could be like this super good version of it, and GameStop just put a dumbass yellow sticker over it. So I love that about it.
I mean, I would hate if someone put a sticker over the rare sticker, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a sticker. It's printed on the thing. So it's,
okay.
Yeah. But like this dumb sticker would just cover exactly where it is. So you would just never know unless you looked or unless you knew the back. So I just think that that's fun that exists. And, GameCube has a lot of interesting variants and like these little like bonus packaged DVD variants, bonus disc variants are really hot on GameCube. That's like what collectors are after. So this just puts a little premium on it. And I like that.
I kind of like it because it does seem genuinely rare. You've talked about this before years ago. And I remember looking and I'm like, oh wow, there's like none of these. Really funny. We looked on eBay before the show for a copy of this, and I think it was like someone's paid $300 for it. Someone had clearly taken like a double disc GameCube case, like a Mario Kart Double Dash with the bonus disc, taken out the insert art, and then slapped in the Pokemon Coliseum with the bonus disc in there. And then they were selling it without the outer cover. And obviously the only thing that matters is having the outer cover with the thing printed on it. And it's still sold for hundreds of dollars. Like, I guess like the bonus disc has some kind of value because the bonus disc is so expensive on its own. But it's so funny that someone tried to scam someone like that.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, it's the dual pack, but it's missing the cover art. Whoa!
People do that with the Metroid Prime Wind Waker as well. It's just so ridiculous.
Just get out of here, you scammers. Okay, here's a fun thing about it. You want to know a fun thing about it?
What's a fun thing?
I'm going to tell you a fun thing about it. There is a bonus disc that happened in Japan only, and I don't know how to say this. It's Celebi or Celebi. Anyways, it's an expansion disc. It comes in a cardboard sleeve, and this was for Japan only. There's actually 2 different versions. One has a preview of the Pokemon channel. The other one has a preview of Pokemon channel, plus a bunch of extra Nintendo games. But it comes with a download for Celebi, which we didn't get here, and then that comes to a later GameStop promotion where I think it was one of the DS games you could go in store and download the same Pokemon. So I like that exists. So if you want to like make your Pokemon Coliseum collection even a little better, you can go get this like cardboard sleeve out of Japan. It's like $50 to $60. Also in this era of games is Pokemon Channel. You ever heard of Pokemon Channel?
You watch TV on your GameCube or something.
Yeah. You watch some stupid games and you watch a few bonus episodes you could have got in the Japanese or in the Australian version of Pokemon Channel. If you watched all the Pikachu battles, I forget exactly what it's called. But if you watched all of those, then you got the Celebi download in PAL in Australia.
Whoa.
So yeah, pretty cool. But that was supposed to be featured here, but didn't. But our Pokemon Channel came with some e-reader cards. That's cool, right? Everyone loves the e-reader.
I do. I'm in.
Yep. So yeah, that's got 4 e-reader cards. So make sure if you buy this, that you got the e-reader cards in there. Pretty boring otherwise. Speaking of the e-reader, while we're talking about it, there was also e-reader and there were Poke e-battle cards, and there's 3 different packs that you could buy. It's kind of like the Mario level packs. They're designed like that, if you know what I'm talking about, the Mario Advance level pack ones. So they look like that. There's a blue one, a yellow one, and a green one, and they have names for like each of the specific battle they are. I don't have them written down, but yeah, there's 3 of those available. Those are actually kind of hard to find. Go for a little bit of money, like $100. But sometimes you can find people slipping like 50 if you want. If you don't want them sealed, you can just usually find it in like lots of e-reader cards. So keep an eye out for those if that's a thing you care about.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Do you know what the follow-up to Pokemon Coliseum was?
Pokemon Coliseum 2?
It was Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness.
Oh, what?
And we're on a little bit of a theme of Pokemon disappointing Tyler here.
What's XD stand for?
No, it's a face laughing. Come on, what have you not lived through the 2000s? Come on. I have no idea. It probably just sounds cool.
Oh.
So we're in, what is it? Pokemon, this came out in like 2005, so Pokemon is 7 years old. And, you know, we have GameCubes, we have like real consoles. 7 years is a long time, especially when you're a kid. So you see, you've been playing all the Pokemon games up to this point, and everyone is just itching like, man, we want like a real Pokemon RPG. And Pokemon Coliseum was like a little bit of that. It's such bullshit. So Pokemon Coliseum isn't like a straight just Pokemon Stadium. It has like the most simplistic 3D RPG kind of like walking around elements, but there's not even like an overworld. You're just like walking through some rooms and talking to some people. It's like real simple. And then so Pokemon XD is coming. And it's like, oh man, 3D Pokemon RPG, is this gonna be it? And it's a total rehash of Pokemon Coliseum. It has like the same areas, and it was just like a complete non-starter again. Just like, we did not get a Pokemon 3D RPG until like what? Arceus?
Yep.
It's crazy how like they just would not give us the one thing everybody wanted. And then like Pal World comes along and it's like, oh look, it's exactly what everyone's wanted for 20 years. So anyway, because of that, Pokemon XD is $180, of course, because it says Pokemon and it's on GameCube.
It's about right.
And had a pre-order like adhesive skin for the GameCube. So I think it's a Lugia or something that you could put on your GameCube.
Yep. Sure could.
Cool.
Woo.
Go spend $180 on that.
Yep. All right. I don't know about this game. What is this game, this next one you have? Pokemon Battle Revolution.
That's a Wii game, Johnny. And
is that the Wii one?
It's notable for being $15.
Woo.
Cool. Do you want another console Pokemon game that's completely based around the battles and doesn't have a 3D RPG to go with it?
Yes.
Cool.
Nice. $15 though. It says Pokemon on it. Can't go wrong.
It's because it's so beloved.
Let's talk about one I do like. And it's weird that this is like, let's go back to the Game Boy Color and let's talk about the Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, right? You love it?
Johnny, I love this game. Yeah. It's a super good version of the Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah. You can play with the original Gen 1 stuff. That's what everyone wants to. And it comes with, if you get it sealed one, it, has a sealed Meowth in there, which is cool.
Yeah. The Meowth trading card. Yep. I mean, it says it right on the box. It's like, oh my God, get a Pokemon card by buying this, kids. Buy it.
Yeah, and it says I think it says promo. It indicates, because like you have to know that all these trading cards usually like there's a different version of this same card, like 5 different ways. So this one, make sure you get the correct version that goes with this game. If you don't have it, don't just buy any Meowth card. That's like this one says promo on it.
Yeah, I mean it's so common. I think it's like $20 or $30. I think. But,
yeah, it's not. I mean, if you're diligent, I'm not sure if you can find it on TCG Player, but you probably can. There's lots of ways to search for this and not overpay for this card.
Yep. I think this is a super good translation of the Pokemon trading card game because Pokemon is a lot simpler than Magic. I don't think there is a good version of Magic outside of like Magic the Gathering Online, which is super complicated and simulatory. But Pokemon is so dumb and simple that this works great.
Arena does a really good job for onboarding new players.
Okay. Yeah, buy this. I like this game. I don't think this game's too expensive either. I mean, for a Pokemon game. Is this like under $100?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
It's not too bad. This game, everyone wants the mainline RPG stuff, so no one really thinks about this. But yeah, I love this one. I love all of them that come with a card.
Yeah, and it has a Japanese exclusive sequel.
Ooh, does it? Tell me more.
Sure does. It's a little bit pricey. I think it's like $50 to $100.
Does it come with a card?
I don't know.
Oh.
I couldn't find out in the short amount of time. I'm sorry. Do you want me to look right now?
No, it's okay. Tell me more about this.
I'm looking at this. This copy looks complete. I'm clicking it. We're going to wait for it to load. So how was your day?
Oh, my day is good.
Whoa, this is this copy is $500? Is this game like more expensive than I realized?
There's a $900 one that has 2 cards in it,
It absolutely comes with multiple cards sealed in a pack, including Lugia, everybody's favorite. Yeah, it comes with some Japanese Pokemon cards.
All right, let's do it. Get them pocket monsters.
I think that's probably why this is so expensive. But it's
oh man, yeah, that Lugia card by itself is going for quite a bit of money. Okay. The Lugia card's like a $400.
Yeah. So the game is expensive, but the cards are expensive in it too. This is actually, so we didn't even like look into this, and this is one of the more collectible Pokemon things.
Oh yeah, this is pretty cool. Even the Mewtwo in it is like fetching a little bit of money. It looks like this come with 2 or 3 cards.
I think it's 2 because I see I see an advertised sealed pack of it, and it's $400, and it says Lugia and Mewtwo.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So those are the 2 that I'm seeing as well. So yeah, go get it. I kind of love this.
I really like this because the thing is, like, that Meowth is completely worthless because like every kid in America bought that Game Boy Color game, but to have the sequel to it and to have like a collectible Pokemon, like an actually collectible Pokemon card in it, that's kind of cool. I'm not paying $500 for it, cool, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and if you buy this, like, put that thing in a top loader, all right?
No, you better buy it sealed in the original plastic packaging. I see plenty of them available, Johnny.
That's so sealed in the plastic packaging. You can still put it in a top loader.
Okay, fine. No, keep it in your box. Don't.
Yes, put it in your box too. The top loader will fit.
It's gonna be too big for your box.
It's not gonna be too big. There's plenty of room in these Japanese Game Boy Color boxes.
There is not.
There is. It's
Maybe
tall.
there is. I don't know.
It's tall. It's plenty of room. I'm telling you. I did this with the Harry Potter one. I know what I'm talking about.
All right. Johnny, this is a weird one. Pokemon card game, How to Play, the Japanese exclusive Pokemon TCG instructional cartridge for the Nintendo DS. This game seems both not that common and not at all expensive. It's possible I'm searching for the wrong terms, but it seems like you can get it for like $20. It comes complete in box. I've never heard of it. You don't own it, and you love Pokemon, and you collect Pokemon cards, and you spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Pokemon cards. Go get the weird instructional DS cartridge. What are you doing?
Yeah, you definitely should.
Johnny, Pokemon Pinball and Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Silver, the sequel. We could just talk about both here.
Well, the first one comes on Game Boy Color, and what's cool about that, it comes in a bigger box. It has the rumble feature, so like make sure you take your batteries out of this thing because it's got a little front slot. Also, if you're buying this game,
it's ruined already if you haven't done that over the past 20 years. So.
Yes. Also, make sure you have the battery cover for it because a lot of times that's missing. But also, this game is hard to get a box protector for, so kind of makes it a pain in the ass. But it does have a rumble feature. It is fairly unique, and hey, it's got Pikachu on the cover.
Whoa, Pikachu!
It's also got. I can name the Pokemon on the cover. It's got Pikachu, it's got Diglett, and it's got Meowth on it.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, I did it.
This game's like $100 complete in box. That really doesn't seem that bad.
Is it only $100? If I went for more than that, but yeah, pick that game up if you can.
Pikachu? No, that's a Doug Trio. It's not a Diglett. Also, you missed the Ditto. You missed the Bellsprout. Come on, what are you doing?
I can't see all of them. I'm looking at a small picture.
Yeah, I only see one. I didn't search for a complete box. But.
What's the difference between a Doug Trio and a Diglett?
Diglett evolves into Doug Trio, and then the single Diglett becomes a trio. So it's Doug Trio.
Oh, I thought Diglett was all 3.
No,
Diglett is just one. Yeah, Diglett is single floor shit, And then Doug Trio's 3-4
my
shits.
God.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Yeah, it's like 100 to 150. I still think that's not bad.
Not terrible. And Ruby and Sapphire is like one of those surprising ones, though, that is like a little more expensive. You're like, what is happening here?
I'd never played Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, but I remember playing Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire. So that is kind of weird.
Yeah, but like this is like a $250 to $300 game. If you want it complete in box.
You know what? We know these people. They're called Game Boy Advance people, and they're just out of their minds. All of you are out of your mind. You guys know, like, oh, well, this is a cool game. It's Pokemon. This is so funny. The store demo cartridge, the not for resale, is like half the price of the actual game.
Yeah. I don't understand. Like, this is a game. I don't think I own this one because I've always been like, why is this like $300? I mean, you can get like, I'm seeing copies for as low as like $200, but man, it just feels so expensive. And for a Pokemon game, there aren't as many as you would think there should be. Especially complete in box for GBA.
But yeah, the boxes. Yeah. What do you think that is? Does pinball appeal to like younger kids, and so they just rip the boxes in half?
I don't know.
Are all because like every once in a while, you know, like when you get like a Game Boy game or a Game Boy Color game, you get like the shrink wrap on it, and you're like, wow, somebody really thought to protect this. And is it just like all the existing boxes for all these games were just owned by adults? Is that what it is?
I believe that must be it. So there's a really good copy on eBay. I put it in our chat. You should take a look at it. The chat in Jitsi.
The Jitsi chat.
Yeah. Anyways, you can also buy the Japanese copy of this game if you just want to play it for a lot less money.
Thanks, Johnny, for this Pokemon pinball that someone used as like knife practice.
Yeah. Kids, right? Am I right?
Oh, kids. I hate kids.
All right. Anyways, there's Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire pinball, expensive. Play it if you like. And let's talk about there's like a few more interesting like variants here coming up when we get into the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series. I like jumping right into these though. Is another GBA game. How comfortable are you with Mystery Dungeon, Blue Rescue, and Red Rescue?
How comfortable am I?
How comfortable are you talking about? You want me to?
Oh, no, I know nothing about this.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about the Pokemon mystery games, but this is a Pokemon game, and it has a cool variant. And I don't know if it's actually cool, but it's definitely one of the ones that the GBA collectors go for. Have you seen this variant? It's a big box and it comes with the DVD. Blue and the red team version both have this. And it gets a little pricey.
Yeah, it can be like absolutely have not heard of this.
Anyways, yeah. So this is like just one of these big box Pokemon games, and you could go spend like $1,000 on this if you want. Do you want to do that?
I don't. You know, you can get the first Mystery Dungeon game for like $20 on Super Famicom. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that is pretty cool. I didn't know that. Anyways, so the red one goes for a little more. Like the red one is like 800 to 1,000. I've seen sales for that, but it's also been a little while since I've seen a sale for that. So things have trended down and stuff like this has definitely cooled off. I saw a blue one recently go for about 400. So you can like look into that if that's a thing you're into. Also, if you just want like a complete in box one, you're still spending like over $150, $100 to $150 on this, I think. So enjoy.
Johnny, what's all right? Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time and Explorers of Darkness.
Oh, these are DS games.
Those are really different concepts. Exploring time is like this amazing, fantastical thing, and exploring darkness is just
being
like
blind.
You go outside.
Yeah, it's like being blind. Okay, turn off the lights. I'm exploring the darkness, rather than exploring the mysteries of the universe. Yeah, a little bit different concepts. Anyways, here's what happened. You could buy this game for like $20 or something, or you could buy the big box version, which were Walmart exclusives, which came with a guide, a little mini guide. You interested?
Nope.
but $300.
No.
Okay.
How much money can we spend on these video games?
Look, I just want to tell you what a Charizard sold for, and then you'll just like look at how cheap these are.
I mean, you see, you put it in those terms, it's like, wow, for the price of one Pokemon card, I could have every Pokemon game. And like all this stuff no one has. Like no one has this big box with guide from Walmart kind of stuff. No one has all of it, that's for sure.
Just one guy, and he's on our Discord. So
all right, yes, sure.
Yeah, he's like a lot of this stuff. Like I only saw because he's a GBA collector, and then he's big on Pokemon. So, what are you gonna do?
All right, what else we got?
I don't know. What else do we got? It's Retro Buy and Sell on Instagram. I want to make sure I got his name right. Tyler, we have a list. There's just a list of games.
Johnny, there's four more Pokemon Mystery Dungeons. I don't care. There's 3 Pokemon Ranger games. I don't care.
Rumble
there's
Blast?
Pokemon Rumble Blast and Pokemon Rumble World, but the original Pokemon Rumble and Pokemon Rumble U aren't physical copies, so make sure you get those rare Pokemon Rumble games because half the series is digital only.
Yeah, well, keep going. What else do we got?
Pokemon Snap. I think Pokemon Snap's a pretty beloved game. Kind of the interesting, the most interesting there is that people buy the Blockbuster kiosks that you would bring your Pokemon Snap cartridge. You'd bring your cartridge to Blockbuster and you would be able to print stickers of the actual pictures you took in the Pokemon game. God damn, that is one of the best promotions that Nintendo has ever done. I absolutely remember doing that. I remember seeing that kiosk every time I went to Blockbuster. I also remember these kiosks used to be relatively affordable, and I'm talking a long time ago, but like under $1,000. And now they're just like one of the prime millennial collectible things, in part because they are so small, you could fit them anywhere. They're smaller than an arcade cabinet. Super.
Yeah,
cool.
I remember them.
Yeah, I don't know what they cost now, but yeah, you're going to make a lot of YouTube shorts after you buy one. I bet all the people you make fun of on YouTube have one, Johnny. I bet K-Quarter has one of them.
Probably.
Yeah. What does Pokemon Snap cost? I don't know, but it's a great game. You should get that. There are some adult games on 3DO that are very reminiscent of Pokemon Snap that I like a lot. I just like photography-based video games, Johnny.
Okay. Fatal Frame. Let's play it.
Absolutely. Pokemon Snap, it's a pretty common game sealed in America. It's also a pretty common game new stock in Japan, which is something I know. Well, because I have a copy I got for like $40, like within the past couple of years. And in this big heritage auction where all these big Pokemon sales are going, what do you think like a graded copy of Pokemon Snap would go for? It's in kind of a unique case. It's in like a little it's like a long case with a hang tab on it. It doesn't look like most N64 games. And, imagine you spent like maybe $100 grading it. So we're $140 into it. Plus we had to ship it from Japan. Let's just say we're $200 into it. So what would it sell for on heritage auctions?
Well, if you paid $200 for it and you've got a night, like what kind of grade are we talking about?
They're all perfect. Imagine It's probably like a 90.
9.8, 9.6, something in that range, high 9. Oh, you probably make $100 on that, $200, right? That seems reasonable.
Yeah, it sold for like $4,500.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I have no idea what is going. Even for like an American copy, that doesn't make sense. I just no idea what happened there. What I think, I mean, all right. I'm going to become a Redditor for a second. Someone must have 50 copies of this, and this was a fake sale to pump the market. It's the only explanation. No one is spending $4,500 on Pokemon Snap. What are you talking about? Giant new Pokemon Snap, there's a sequel. I'm sure you can get it for $30. My wife has played through it, and she says it's and she also loves the original, so that's the glowing recommendation. Pokemon Puzzle League on Nintendo 64. I think that's a Panel Depon game, or it's a ripoff of Panel Depon. So it's a good game. But it unfortunately has the Pokemon branding, which for some reason makes it less cool. Am I the only? Do you also think that?
No, I mean, yes, I agree with you. Why?
I always thought Pokemon Puzzle League. I think it's because of the clip art. It goes back to like that generic clip art look that a lot of this stuff from the late 90s, early 2000s has. But if you told me like just straight up Paneled Upon was on N64, how cool would that be? That'd be so cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Also, how come every time they release Paneled Upon in America, they can't call it Paneled Upon? Paneled Upon is a cool name. It's a catchy name, and they're all like, oh, it's Tetris Attack. Oh, it's Nintendo Puzzle Collection. Oh, fuck off! It's Paneled Upon. Come on.
No, Paneled Upon only.
All right.
Sorry,
we got to get through more game. Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. I don't know what that is. I'm not surprised I don't know what a Pokemon game is. Is that a sequel to Puzzle League?
Probably. Anyways.
Yeah, that's Paneled Upon on Game Boy Color. Pokemon Traze, that's like a Yoshi cookie game. Pokemon Battle Traze, it's whatever sequel to that. Detective Pikachu, there's a Detective Pikachu game. There's a Detective Pikachu Returns game.
There's a giant Detective Pikachu amiibo.
There's a giant, like one of those giant Funko Pops. Have we gotten to that?
Not quite that big, but it's big.
All right. Detective Pikachu Returns. We got like a Batman Returns thing going on there. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna click the first review I could find. It's IGN. They gave it an 8.2, which means it's the worst game IGN has ever played. Pokken Tournament on the Wii U comes with an amiibo card in the first print. It's not at all rare, but go get it.
It's got a splash on the front that tells you it's got there. Also, that Detective Pikachu, maybe it's not that big, but it's in a bigger. I'm trying to think like if it's actually it's in a bigger case for sure. It's like it feels big.
Yeah, I did not like the Detective Pikachu movie because I hate fun and I apply logic to children's movies. So sorry.
Oh yeah, you're fun at parties.
The Pokken Tournament, that's not even rare sealed. Don't pay a premium for that. Pokken Tournament DX, we got to remake everything on the Switch. Poke Park Wii, Pikachu's Adventure, and Poke Park Wii 2. Yes, one of these had a humor. I think Poke Park Wii 2 is one with a very humorous $20,000 sealed sale. I don't even know what these games are. What is Poke Park Wii?
No idea. Why would I know?
Genre.
If I wasn't into the mainline Pokemon games, what makes you think I'm going out on a limb on Pikachu's Adventure in Poke Park?
It's just called Action Adventure on Wikipedia. I really have no idea what this game is. It's a Wii game. Okay, it looks like a 3D platformer. Maybe a 3D. Oh, you know what? It looks like an action adventure game, but very generic and boring one. Man, just like, does Pikachu even have a shadow? It's like he barely has a shadow. This game looks like trash. How is like the most? Oh, it's like the biggest series ever, and just like there's so much like kind of shit looking games once you get off the main series, or even in the main series. Like Marvel, they'll make like the worst. Like they'll just spend $200 million making like a movie on like the random side character Ant-Man or something. Pokemon can't even get a Pikachu game that looks amazing. Johnny, I bring them up a lot. In 2006, Sega released the Sega Pico Beena. So it was kind of the upgrade of the Sega Pico, their early childhood educational video game system. The game cartridges are workbooks that have I think it has like a touch screen. Do you like touch the books with a stylus?
Ooh. It's
like a stupid VTech thing. I've never played it because it's just the worst thing ever. I famously threw mine out. It was one of the first things I had as a video game collector was a Sega Pico, and it's such a piece of garbage. I threw it in the trash. It was not worth the space it takes up. But there are 3 or 4 Pokemon games for the Sega Pico Beena, and they are among the rarest Pokemon games. It's not something you could just go on Yahoo Japan and buy. You're going to have to search for them. The novelty of a Pokemon game you have to search for, I kind of love it. So 10 out of 10 to the Pokemon Pico Beena games. On a similar note, there is the Pokemon Mini, which is its own console. Technically, it's a little LCD handheld console, but it has its own cartridges with like slot machine games and I don't even remember. Do you know the Pokemon mini games off the top of your head?
No.
Okay, I think I got it on these actually. They have small square boxes for the cartridges. The cartridges are like the size of a quarter, and the boxes are almost like half-sized Game Boy boxes. They're just super small. We didn't talk about them because what the hell is a Pokemon Mini? But in the running for one of the better game boxes ever, I think. These are like super expensive now because the box games are hard to find. So I don't know. The games are like $100 each almost. You gotta go get them. I think it's novel to have. You definitely don't have to go get them, but I think it's novel to have rare Pokemon games. So I do kind of like them.
It is nice to have rare things. I mean, if you want to spruce up your Pokemon collection, go get something that everyone isn't going to have.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny, we've come to the part of the episode that it's been a long march to.
Oh my God. You've hit your home stretch.
The Pokemon personal computer games.
Oh yeah.
If you asked me, I would have thought there were like 0. I would have thought it was like that Pokemon print shop thing, and that's it. No! Pokemon Play It. This is like a Wizards of the Coast thing. You know it. You love it. You've played those Magic the Gathering things. Used to be bought like a CD-ROM from the card shop or from Barnes and Noble.
Battlegrounds.
And it taught you how to play Magic the Gathering. And Pokemon Play It is that same thing for the Pokemon trading card game. It's a little simulation of the trading card game. It's great. And Johnny, There's 2 variants. There's version 1 and version 2. And it says version 2 on the cover. I mean, there's actually a bunch of variants for this. And version 2 is definitely rare. Pretty cool,
oh, shit.
Huh?
It's pretty cool.
These are like $10 to $20 each. Who has this? If you're collecting Pokemon games and you're like, oh, I'm saving up $800 for Pokemon Emerald, do you have a $10 copy of Pokemon Play It? And if you don't, who does? There's no box or anything. This is just like a little sleeve. But I think it's novel that you can get something so interesting for $10. I mean, so interesting is debatable.
It is pretty strange.
Johnny, Pokemon Masters Arena. We are getting into
what is happening?
The prime cuts. This isn't even like a little promotional teach you how to play thing. This is a straight up video game. This is a video game that you don't own and you've never heard of. And it's crazy. How does this exist?
I don't know. Tell me more.
It's a shovelware minigame compilation from ValueSoft. The back of the box advertises literally 2 of the 8 games, so you would think these are the best 2 games on the disc, and it's Mudkip Bingo and Trico's Word Jumble.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, hooray.
So bad.
That's exactly what I was expecting.
It's like $8 for a jewel case copy. I don't think there is a box, at least that I could see. There's a ton of them. Who has it? A lot of people have them for sale, but how many of you have this in your collection? There's a Pokemon PC game. There's Pokemon shovelware. Who has this? Crazy. I love this. 10 out of 10. Go get a copy of Pokemon Masters Arena. Masters Arena. They even gave it like an epic name for a shitty minigame compilation.
That's very weird.
All right.
That's a weird thing.
We've arrived, Johnny, at 11 out of 10. Pokemon Pokerom from the Learning Company.
So, huh?
Pokemon Pokerom. These are a series of collectible edutainment games. And we're not talking you buy two of them to complete the set. This is like Lightspan. There are 50 unique discs. These are not art variants. These are 50 unique discs that have different data on the disc.
You got to catch them all.
Stupid like math games. It's like edutainment games for like grades 1 to 5, and I think the different discs might mean something with that, but you don't care. You're not gonna put these in. Even more fun, these are the mini discs. So imagine like a GameCube size disc, but they have the edges cut off, so it's more like the size of a business card. If you were alive in like 2003, you remember these like little promotional CDs. They sat on like the inner tray of your CD tray in your computer.
Yes, I remember.
So there were 10 normal releases of this. So 10 different Pokemon on the day. They got like Pikachu, they got Eevee, they got Squirtle and all that. Some of them came bundled in cereal boxes. Some of them came bundled in other edutainment games from the Learning Company. And you could buy them all just like separately. There are 10 different discs that have different packaging. They're all on like these cards, kind of like action figures, that were promoting Pokemon 2000, the movie. And then there are 30 mystery discs that were sold 3 at a time.
I'm sorry, they're mystery discs?
They would only show you 2 of them, and the third disc would be a mystery disc. But there's 20 different discs out of the 30 that can appear in the packaging, and 10 of them that can't appear. So you can't buy them sealed because you won't know that you have the 10 mystery discs. Also, I couldn't find a single one of these 30 discs on eBay because these are way rarer than the other ones. Holy shit!
What what are you even talking about? This is crazy. I need you to buy all of these.
I was considering buying all of them. Like, wow, what a cool set. Because you like start looking, you're like, wow, some of these are like $6. And then you start looking like, oh my God, how many of these are there? I see like 10 different, I'm not going to buy 10 different copies. And I look, there's 50 different discs and you can't even find 30. 30 of them just aren't on eBay. So holy shit, what a set this is. This is crazy.
It's kind of amazing, really.
One of the first things that comes up when you look for these is Lost Media Wiki, because it wasn't until 2 years ago that all 50 discs were actually tracked down and dumped.
Oh my God, this is amazing. Come on, Tyler, do it.
Oh, it's so good. I think I set up a save search for the mystery discs.
That's What the hell? Mystery disc? What are they doing? What is this?
This is so good. Like they really whole-assed this. Like they could have half-assed it and been like, so no, you know what I'm thinking of? I think Burger King had a Pokemon toy that they released and they had like 10 different variants. And it's like, gotta catch them all. This is educational PC software and you make 50 different variants. This is, who's the Shark Tank guy? The bald Mr. Wonderful was in charge of the Learning Company when this came out, and he's like, fuck you, this is such Mr. Wonderful bullshit right here. I love this. Pokemon, go buy them. You won't be able to find most of them. 10 out of 10. Love it.
10 out of 10.
Love it.
I love it too, kind of.
Johnny, we're going to keep going.
Keep going.
We're stopping the show with the showstoppers. Pokemon Team Turbo. What the hell is Pokemon Team Turbo? You have never heard of this game. If you tell me you have heard of this game, you are lying. This is a straight up retail Pokemon PC top-down 2D racing game. How does this game exist?
I don't know.
You play little Pokemon, and they're in their little Pokeballs, but the top half of the Pokeball is clear, and they're in like they're like little cars, and they're driving around, and it looks like a Flash game, but it was sold as a small box PC game. There's one on eBay for $400.
Okay.
You can get the jewel case for like $15, but knowing that there's a box now, you can't get the jewel case because you don't want to be the guy who doesn't have the box. So what are you going to do? What's your option? Pay $400 or never find this game? Because what the hell is this game?
I think that's the correct answer, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, you should. Johnny, did you buy it?
No. I posted it on Discord. I'm like, yo, check this out. Who's ever seen this thing before?
Someone has. Someone's seen it. Someone owns it. Who will it be? Who will pop up in the Discord and say, "Yeah, I got that"?
I don't think we have someone who collects obscure, dumb enough PC stuff to do that.
No, but we got some obscure Pokemon collectors.
Yeah, see, even like if you're an obscure Pokemon collector, you're like, PC games don't count. Like, I feel like that would still be the how Pokemon people are. Because Pokemon's so console centric. I can't believe there's any. I would have said there's 0 Pokemon PC games. I can't believe these games exist, Johnny.
It is bizarre.
We're ending the show with the Holy Grail. And
Okay,
that would be.
What is it?
Pokemon PC Master. The 2006 Japanese exclusive early childhood Windows PC game that taught kids skills like typing and how to use the internet. And of course, all these other games look like complete shovelware. They're all using that same clip art style. They look like they were programmed in probably a week. And you look at like the commercial for this one, and it's got like all this like great animation and stuff. It looks amazing. Lost Media Wiki says it has been partially found because in 2018, someone dumped a trial version of it that they found somewhere. But in terms of internet dumps, this game still has not been dumped. Obviously, I couldn't find a copy for sale anywhere. This is a Pokemon game that doesn't exist. Go find this Pokemon game. This has to be the rarest one. Come on.
You should go find it. Are you going to find it?
I love it. No, I'm not going to find it.
You should be the guy. Look hard. I'm sure no one's looking for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing like, what is this realistically gonna sell for when it comes up? Like $400 or $500? Like, if it's that rare, if it's the rarest Pokemon game, isn't that worth it? We got like these Walmart freaking variants selling for $1,000, and you're gonna tell me the rarest Pokemon game isn't worth $400? Go get it, Pokemon PC Master. And make a YouTube video on it, and you'll get like at least 500 views. Because when I found a super cool, undumped, maybe the first computer RPG first-person perspective thing ever made, or first turn-based battle ever made, I got like 500 YouTube views on it.
Pretty sick.
Never gonna let that go.
You're gonna chase that high forever, or low. I'm sorry, Tyler.
Johnny, go find this. What are we doing? This game did not get reviewed in Famitsu. It did not.
Definitely didn't.
It had a news article in Famitsu.
All right.
That's it.
That's it.
This is people were like, what the hell? The last episode was only an hour and a half.
People were noticeably disappointed. After the longest episode we've ever done, they're like, this is some bullshit, guys. Like, what a cop out. I'm like, what are you talking about? We just talked for like 4 hours. Also, I was so sick in that episode, and I still got us an hour and a half.
Yeah.
People are like, nah, I needed to hear you talk longer like that. I don't know what was going on.
Oh, should we get a collector's question?
We should.
Do you have anything to wrap up Pokemon? Go get your Pokemon Red and Green from Japan. They're so cheap. It's so good. Get it. You know, get it while the getting is good. Like, you literally have 100 different copies you could buy. So just go find the nicest one and pay $40 or whatever for it. It might be that way forever. I bet it's not. You know, it's Pokemon. If it hasn't popped off yet, maybe it'll never pop off. Just still go get it.
I'm always get a mainline guy and start at the beginning.
What's our thing called? Ask the Podcast. Where is it?
Yeah, Ask the Podcast. Mm-hmm. Made it real simple. And it's in the podcast dropdown. So this is a good time to tell you all, if you want to ask us questions and you want to hang out on our Discord, you can do so by joining us via Patreon, and that is patreon.com/collectorsquest. And that's $4 if you want to get in there. That gets you the bonus content, and that gets you in our Discord.
Xeno Master System asks, why do you guys record the podcast at such outrageous hours?
Why do we, Tyler?
I had to wait for your wife to get home so she could watch the kids so we could record this, and you're 3 or 4 hours ahead of me. I don't remember how California works. I think 3.
Yep, 3.
Yeah. And I stay up late anyway. I get off work at like 8 p.m. my time. I don't know. I'm just up late. I love a morning show, man. There's nothing like
Yeah, except you're
not.
not like. So this is the thing. So I just want to address this. It's like, oh, do a morning show. I will get up. I woke up early. I'm like, okay, I'll get up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday for Tyler so we can like just crank this thing out and it's not like his whole day isn't over. And I'll be like messaging Tyler. And mind you, it's 9 o'clock his time. I'm like, Tyler. He's like, oh, I stayed up till 5 a.m. It's like, well, what the fuck? What do I care then if we're going late? Like, I'm not, what am I supposed to feel bad for you now? Like, I dragged my ass out of bed at 6 a.m. On my only day of the whole week to sleep in. And you're like, oh yeah, I couldn't get up. It's too early. Let's do it at 11 o'clock.
We just do night shows usually.
Usually we do, but it has happened where I'm like messaging you and I'm like, Tyler, hello. Oh, still sleeping. Okay.
Anyway, so, it's like 6 a.m. right now. And I'll say like a lot of the times because we start at like midnight my time and then do like 2 hours of pre-show discussion and research and then start recording. So it goes late.
Yeah, this isn't ideal. Like I'm not, I know it sounds like I'm like, screw you, Tyler, let's just do it. I also don't want to be recording at this hour. But this is just kind of when the time works, especially after I had a child, then my schedule just got pretty restricted and we are on opposite coast. So we make it work because we like doing this and I'll hang out with Tyler at whatever the time may be.
Second question from Zeno. As you've stated, many games will not be remembered and it seems like fewer people are set collecting. Do you think collecting graded games, CIB and sealed, will normalize and ultimately be the primary way people collect games?
I think the price of games, partially because of sealed games and like what the market did, will make it so people are priced out of just buying bulk everything. You also have some other converging factors. People with games are getting older. Kids are growing up with less physical media. People have established that collectibles are an asset class, like video games are part of the asset class now. So they should just command more value. I think a lot of these things, I don't know if it'll all be graded and all sealed stuff, but I think people will be more choosy, have less as a function of one, just the cost of games and the availability of nice games, but also as just like the way comics went, as people perceive this is the correct way to do it.
I'm going to say no. Graded games will never be normal. It's too expensive to grade a game. Like minimum like $50 to grade a complete in box game. Look at the average collection of like what people have now. Like the average person's probably got like a shelf of like DVD games, like PS2 games. Like it does not make sense to grade a complete in box copy of God of War, like obviously with the way things are now, but like there's also so many copies of God of War. Like when would it ever make sense to grade a complete in box copy of God of War? And the answer might be when it is sealed, but then once you go to seal, like that's already such a niche market, such a niche part of collecting that I don't see it ever becoming mainstream to collect. I think it's too niche and too expensive, basically. Because it's a lot cheaper to obviously grade a card or a coin or a comic book because they're smaller 2D objects.
Yep. I agree with that. Like I said, I think collections will be smaller, but sealed, graded, not so much.
Yeah, I think collections could be smaller. I mean, I don't know. I think people will be collecting Xbox 360 and Switch and like maybe not full sets, but lots of games. I do think that things will definitely coalesce around important games that people actually remember. I just don't think that everything's going to be graded. I think people will be perfectly happy having a copy of Super Mario 64 complete in box. And if it's pretty nice, they'll put it in a box protector.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one more.
Okay.
Tom Nook asks, what is the coolest / best game manual? I've always been partial to the Toe Jam and Earl manual as a kid.
Well, like I have my nostalgia answer, which is Final Fantasy, just because it was like this like whole guide and the map and you had stats and everything. It was like a book. I just loved reading it. You got something different there?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. What's actually like? What's a good manual? Like it has to
Rygar's
be
got a
something
good
from
manual.
like a PC game.
Rygar has the good manual, right? Where the what does it call them? Animalized men wiggling eerily.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So there's a part in the Rygar manual, if you've never seen this, and it's like when they're talking about the monsters that you face in Rygar, and instead of being called monsters, I don't know where the hell this translation came from, but it's like animalized men wriggling eerily, and it's the monsters.
Weird. All
Yeah,
right.
I love it. I love it a lot. And also, like, I also love that manuals used to have like the game story in it, and like Rygar has a map in there, and a story, but like kind of things are out of order. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it now. So it tells you like the geographical features of the holy place, Argul. And you're like, oh, okay, why are you leading with that on page 1 of your manual? Then it's like a map of Grand Mountain, map of Garlosh. You're like, okay, and then the story happens on part 3, and then part 4 is the controls. You're just like, what? And then it talks to you about menu screens, and then it's like, first of all, now then it's like, first of all, go to meet the legendary, and it's like where the like Buddha-esque looking guy, and then it tells you about the weapons, and then it tells you about the potential capacities of Rygar, and then yes, animalized men wriggling freely, and then it gives you the epilogue. So the manual order is just like, what the hell is happening in the Rygar manual that they thought that this was okay? So if you haven't looked through a Rygar manual, you can do so. There's lots of PDFs of it available. Go take a look at Rygar.
All right, I'm gonna go take a look at the Rygar manual then after the show.
I'm posting a link for you in the Jitsi chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've come up with my answers. Home Improvement on Super Nintendo is very funny. You open it up and it says real men don't need manuals.
That is good. That's a good one.
And then when I remember as a kid, Falcon 4.0, also Falcon 3.0, but 4.0 is bigger. Hey there, console gamers. There's something that people with computers did, like normal people did, like Hewlett Packard shipped this with computers when he bought it. We played flight simulators, and I don't know why. I think they were just like really interesting tech demos, and the idea of flying was really cool. So it's like, oh, let's be an airplane on a computer. Falcon 4.0, it's a military flight simulator, and it comes with a binder. It's like 3 inches thick, and it's like, here's how to fly a freaking airplane. And that's just great. So that's it.
Nice. Pretty good.
That's it. Johnny, what are you buying? What are you playing?
I wanted just to like go back to the grading thing. Like grading a comic is $25, just so you know. It's a $25 item.
But do they have like percentage of value and all that kind of stuff added on?
No. It's like if it's under $400, then it's $25, and it takes about 20 days. And if it's over 400 and it's vintage, then it's $40. And then if you have got like a high value one, it's up to $85.
All right. Well, the other thing, I know that grading a comic like triples how much space it takes up, but comics don't take up that much space to begin with.
Yeah.
Can you imagine grading like even a shelf of like 40 PS2 games? Like all of a sudden it's like, I can't fit anything else in my house. I have 40 graded PS2 games. What the hell?
Yeah. Especially in like the old Wata cases, just gigantic. Yeah. No, thanks. They do have the fair market value one. There's a 4% fair market value, and that's the unlimited value. The value has to be a minimum of $100.
Okay, so they are charging you 4% fee on that.
That's unlimited value. If you are, this is this is specific tier. So,
all right. I don't want to talk about comic tiers. It's 6 a.m. I'm too tired. I want to go to bed.
All right. So what am I buying? What am I playing? That's what you want to know?
Yeah.
Okay. I can tell you that. Tyler, I'm playing Diablo. Have you heard of this game? Diablo 4.
Johnny, I'm playing V Rising. Have you heard of it? It's like a better Diablo.
Okay. I have heard of it, but it's not on the Xbox, so I can't play it.
I think it just came out.
Did it?
Maybe it came out on PlayStation.
I have no idea.
John, who plays Xbox? What, isn't Xbox dead? Isn't like, there's all these news articles like Xbox is dying. No one's buying Xbox.
Have no idea. I just play with my friend. It's what we do. We like log on for like an hour at night and we just play like an hour and hang out. That's just a thing we do. And we do it like 2 or 3 times a week. And season 4 came out, so we're playing again after a hiatus. So that's what I'm playing. And what am I buying? Tyler, I bought some stuff. Hey, I bought a manual for Strike Gunner. That was pretty cool.
Ooh.
I had OGCIB, Corey, he sent me a lot of manuals and posters for the NES and N64. He sent me so much good stuff. So I got just a pile of manuals for games, like including Captain Planet. Gotta love that. I bought for the Halloween stuff, because, I'm always buying that. Have you heard of Strahd's Possession on the PC?
I sure have.
Okay, that's good. It's a D&D game. It's Ravenloft, and it's got a picture of like Strahd, but basically Dracula on the cover and a moon, and hey, that's what I'm doing. That's in my wheelhouse. I also bought Vampire the Masquerade, the New York bundle for the Switch, because why not? If you ever wanted to...
I have never been like so excited to so disappointed in the span of 1 second.
Yeah. Like keeping in that vampire. Don't worry. I threw that in there. I'm going to bring you back up with this one, because this is one we both like a whole lot. Tyler finally got my copy of it, and it came damaged, and I'm super annoyed about it, and I don't know what to do. But Frankenstein's Monster for the Atari 2600.
No, it came down. Oh, I love that game, man.
I know. It came crushed. I had 2 games come in stupid bubble mailers, and this was one of them, and I just was like, come on, man. And now it's like, I put it in a box protector, and it looks okay now. The front still displays, but it's like, it's just that kind of moment. So like, now what am I going to do? Upgrade it and then sell this copy never? Come on.
What, you're not just like returning it?
No, I didn't just return it. Also, it came during the time when I was sick and not being out of the house. So I'm like past the winter. It was just like super bad timing on everything.
Okay. Ooh, there's a really complete one for $130 on eBay right now.
Yeah, I'm watching it.
Okay. I mean, the box is not great, but I bet it has an insert you don't have.
Well, this one has all the inserts in it, so that was nice. It had like it had like the date age, like extra insert in there, and then like the warranty card and the catalog. So it had all the stuff in it.
Did it have both warranty cards?
Is there 2 warranty cards?
If you look at the 131 on eBay, there are 5 inserts in this game, Johnny.
Okay, well, I've got 4 inserts, so maybe I'm missing that one. Anyway, so that's what I bought, and that's what I played. What about you?
All right, I've got nothing except I got a package from Japan, Johnny.
Ooh.
And I got, I got a sealed Kingsfield in one of them. Kingsfield 1. That is not an easy game to find. That's just a random one I've been looking for. I'm not even a From Software fan, but I'm an influence of the Demon Souls Legacy fan. Is Kingsfield, is that the first From Software game? I don't even know what they're... It is the first From Software game.
Seems like it.
It's a weird game. And I think it's cool. And the Kingsfield that we got in America is Kingsfield 2. That's a fun fact that you already knew, just like Doki Doki Panic is Super Mario Brothers 2.
I think Super Mario 2 is better than Super Mario 3 somewhere. Is that true?
Yeah, if you haven't listened to the last episode of the Lost Joystick Network, they did an episode on Super Mario Brothers 2. A game they like a lot. Because it's good.
I like it a lot too. I think a lot of people shit on that game unnecessarily. I think it's actually a very good game.
It's not its own fault that it's the worst Super Mario game besides New Super Mario Brothers U.
Is it?
But still a very good game.
I'll take it over Mario Sunshine any day.
Oh, did I say U? I meant New Super Mario Brothers 2. I would not take it over Mario Sunshine. I'm sorry.
Oh, any day of the week. I love
Mario Sunshine is like a little bit messed up and hard, and I kind of like that about it.
Super Mario 2 is so weird and wonderful.
I don't stopping as a mechanic is dumb. Like the fact that you have to stop and pick stuff up. That's like you don't have to do that in almost any other Mario game. You can just like go full speed all the time.
That's true, but you don't do that in the 3D Mario games. You have to stop and look around.
Yeah, but you don't really have to stop to do anything because you could just like bop dudes and keep going.
I mean, but you do have to like stop and look for secrets and jump around and hit bricks and stuff, and pulling stuff out of the ground is just the same kind of thing.
All right.
Instead of going up, you're going down.
It's like an 8 out of 10. I love that game. It's just, if it was, it could have been any other great game. They just slapped Mario in it. The only reason people like all remember and love it is because it had Mario in it.
That's true.
If Rayman 2 was a Mario game, everyone would be talking the fuck about Rayman 2 all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, I bought it, or I didn't buy it, but I asked for it as a kid because it was a Mario game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's part of it.
I didn't even know it existed until I had a Game Boy Advance, Johnny, when I played Super Mario Advance.
So when you got Super Mario Advanced 1, then you...
yes, exactly. And I had my friend had Super Mario All-Stars, and we never played 2. I don't know what was up with that. We only played 1.
I don't know. Everyone's like, that's the dumb one. Oh, I love it. Go, like, Birdo's so weird and Wart. Come on. Mario streaming? Or was he? So good.
Johnny, I got a sealed Suikoden. I'm getting big on my sealed PS1. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, girl. Why? Why did you buy this?
Why? Because it was from the same seller who had the Kingsfield. I'm just like, oh, they got a Kingsfield? What else do they got? And this was kind of cheap for what it is. So I don't know, whatever. Sweet.
Nice. All right, cool. I like it.
That's it.
You did it.
Can I go to bed now?
You can go to bed now.
Cool.
That's it. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. We really appreciate it. And to all our patrons who support us, thank you very much indeed. We doubly appreciate you guys. But everyone else, thanks so much. We will talk to you next time. Bye.